Just awaiting a few data points to come here this morning. Durable goods orders for January on a month-over-month basis just coming through, 3.1%, a little bit higher than expected. This is a second reading of GDP, 2.3%, in line with consensus for Q4. So second reading on Q4 GDP comes in line with expectations there, 2.3%. Also getting initial jobless claims from last week, 242,000, a little bit of an uptick, 225,000 expected over there. Continuing claims, 1.86 million versus 1.87, so a little bit of a beat on that side. Durable goods orders, if you take out defense spending, 3.5% versus 1.4 expected, so a little bit higher on that side. So overall, I mean, kind of in line with expectations. That PCE number, that's a quarterly PCE number. It doesn't necessarily affect the market terribly. 2.7, though, a little bit of an uptick for the second reading on the Q4 PCE. 2.5 was expected. So GDP second reading, PCE second reading, both to the upside. GDP basically in line with expectations there. Still 2.3%. Not bad at all for the U.S. economy, still chugging along here. The move, though, for the overall market, a little bit of a downtick on those data points just coming through. Still a nice gap here after, man, what a show, what a recap it was last night. Anyone who joined us, thank you so much for coming out. A lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers, so welcome if you're back with us this morning. I saw good enough seemed to be the consensus. A few different analysts with that type of a terminology this morning.
It feels like the last few earnings reports for Nvidia have been just that, right? Yeah. Good enough. It's slowing in the growth, but like, let's be real. I mean, we can't expect too much. They beat on the top and bottom line. Handley, the guidance was fantastic. The only points really here to talk about where gaming continues to not do as well, but where gaming doesn't do well, automotive actually grew over 100% year over year for Nvidia as we look to kind of add that into the self-driving as well as robotics. Brendo expected to be some of the next stages for Nvidia's growth. Fantastic look, and Blackwell demands through the roof.
Yeah, and I mean, data centers, like this number is just
insane.
Like 3,460% growth over 5 years in data center operations. So just mind-boggling on some terms. I was just hearing a note on Moderna there. It was not really doing anything. $32 holding there for Moderna. Anyways, Nvidia, back to the upside we go here, guys. Good morning. Neil back. Good morning, guys.
Hey. Good morning. It's funny you say like a Moderna not doing much of anything. Like Sean turns to me, he's like, Moderna's down again?
Yeah, I was like, what? Because I want to buy one. I want to buy some of these at
There's going to be a bottom on that sucker at some point.
What is it, 30? 30 is the low. Okay.
It's not Nvidia, let's put it that way. Nvidia's made more money in the more revenue in the last 2 years than they had in the history of the company combined. It's insane.
I was saying yesterday it was relatively cheap. It went out at near 30 PE, and it looks like that's going to hold, and we're going to be fine. Problem is disappointing, right? I mean, only 2.2%. Expected move was 10%. They always do this. They always sort of, it's the big Super Bowl. I want to thank you. We had over 18,000 joined in with us last night. So over 1,000 new subscribers. So we want to thank everybody for joining us last night. We'll have another big show here tonight as well. But yeah, Neil's back, so that's good. You're feeling better, I guess, obviously.
Well, a lot better than I was. But yeah, we're getting there. I got a redonkulous amount of sleep the other night.
Good, that's nice.
I was telling a couple people here, like, I don't think I've ever had a regular day where it wasn't regular, but I went to bed at 9:30 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And my alarm woke me up at 7, which is insane. Like, I'm usually, like, that's...
Like my alarm doesn't go to bed around that time, but you're up so much earlier.
Well, my alarm doesn't wake me up when I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So, like, I was actually, like, panicking because I'm like, oh, my goodness, like, gonna get my daughter ready for school, like this and that. But yeah, the body needed the rest and glad to have it. Missed a couple of interesting days in the market. I see, like, obviously Smci was flying around yesterday when they met that deadline, but it's all about Nvidia chips today. Unfortunately for Moderna, they stink, but.
I was trying to think about going, I was thinking about going only longs today, but the NASDAQ's, damn it, man. Yesterday we had such a great open, and then it just got killed as soon as Trump basically had that cabinet meeting there. Like, what is Elon doing just standing there at that cabinet meeting? I don't even understand. Anyways, nice move to the upside there, and then whoosh all the way to the downside there with his black Make America Great Again. it's so funny because Trump was like, hey man, does everyone like what's going on here with Doge and everything? And kind of everyone kind of looked at each other. It was like, and then someone started clapping and then they were all over like, yeah. Oh man, that was hilarious.
Out of a movie.
I just saw it on late night, so they're making fun of some of this stuff. So it's like, I'm sure it wasn't like that, but it was pretty fun. So anyways, yeah, NASDAQ today. Look at this. Look at this move. Can you take a look at this? I mean, this is happening right now in the NASDAQ. A nice little pullback right into 21.3 again. Yeah, PCE is coming tomorrow, right? So we're going to have a number tomorrow. We're going to look at inflation. I don't know. If it comes in hotter, we're probably going to be in a big problem here. But yeah, nice move downside again for the NASDAQ. Like, can we not hold something at some point? I am getting a little tired, though, of everyone talking about, like, the sky is falling here. I mean, we're not even down that much. It depends on the space that you're in, I guess, right? Like, you've been buying Tesla, it's a problem. You've been buying Bitcoin, it's a problem.
That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, even in Amazon, right?
Well,
it's been getting hit down.
I think a lot of people, I know a few friends of ours, I know you were talking, we were in a couple of the chats. It had mostly to do with Tesla and Bitcoin. I think that people were freaking out about it because when you take a step back and try to remember where the market is right now, you know, like the Qs, like we're good. We're not that far off the highs. We're still in the exact same range that we started, like the entirety of this year has been a couple checks at the top, hold on to 500, you know, it's like a less than 10% range up top here in the NASDAQ. Yeah, you're under the 50 period. But at the end of the day, it's not the sky is falling. We said back-to-back 20% years. Like, it's not going to be as ridiculous as it was. Nvidia's not growing at 250% revenue every single quarter. Like 114 or whatever it was is just going to have to do these days, which does mean the market provides you with good dip buying opportunities if you can stomach it. And I think Palantir brushed its the 50 period recently. It just bounced off of that, or Palantir,
yeah.
A couple of days ago.
They're all at the 50 or the 200 almost every
Tesla's really close to
you almost
the
can't
200
name
as
one
well.
that's not.
Yeah.
I'm worried about this. I'm not worried about it, but like, look at Amazon, man. This was $240. It dropped down to $210. Forget about that little wick down there to 205. But like 210, 212, there's your 200 period coming into play again as well. Maybe. So let's see if this can hold. Yeah, so this is why people are panicking. It's because you opened up your account 2 weeks ago and you're long on Amazon, you're long on Google, and you're like, this is great, right? I'm loving life right now. And then all of a sudden, chart, there it is. And then boom, it's like 204, okay, 175, nice to know you. Oh yeah, Meta, Meta had 21 straight up days. And then it was like, whoops, all the way back down in again, right? So I think today's Nvidia number is actually pretty good for Meta. So we'll wait to see if that can get going as well, up another 1.4%. So today is the rally day, I thought, in Mag 7 land. So I have Nvidia, Palantir, and Amazon, and then a couple of smaller ones on the sticky note right here. I don't know if we're going to have Luis Barbato today, but he was in the calendar, and that would be cool if we did, because there are some
O'Reilly
small caps running around as well.
Well,
we talked about this, and thanks whoever that was that tweeted at me about a week ago when we talked about this, and he was down 100 and 150 grand or something, and it was down to $3. And he goes, what have I done? Well, he long down in around 5, and I just called up the short float. And I was like, my guy, there is a chance. You do have life. But now that you've given this life raft, what are we doing with it? Will people decide that, hey, it's going to take out this $8? Or are we going to get another banana from Randy?
Thank you, Randy.
What's going on, my guy? Update on the car?
What?
Fixed.
What happened to the car? Did I know this?
No, he had alternator issue and battery.
Okay.
Just got the call.
Okay, perfect. It's all done. So you can make your trip this weekend, hopefully? All right, but the weather here now is starting to snow a little bit.
It's going to get cold.
We're gonna get cold again.
I got a 3-hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to go up north this weekend too.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, these kids are driving. I mean, you're doing it for fun. I'm doing it with.
You've not doing it.
Yeah, well, I'm still doing it for fun, but the kids.
No, it is for fun. It's all for fun, man.
Yeah, I'll be back.
All
right, thanks. Yo, Joe, what's going on, man?
What's up, Joe? Appreciate you, brother.
We all appreciate everybody around here. Yeah. He did. Joe did an all right job.
A couple of Italians on the desk
couple
for
of
a
Italian
change.
guys on the desk, man, throwing around some meatballs and shit like that. All right. Randy is kind of like a Viking, isn't he? A little bit there. He had
He
that
needs to
boat.
do the buzz cut again. He's letting it come back in.
What the hell? He's got to go see Halim
Yeah.
again.
Figure that
Okay,
out.
let's go back over to Professor Sharif.
Professor Sharif's going to give us a lesson here in a few minutes. But until then, I was just reading a couple of things on Microsoft. They put out a note this morning basically explaining why the Trump administration should back off on some of these restrictions, sending chips overseas and over to Asia. I mean, the stock didn't move at all on this. It is green on the morning, good to see 0.4% here, but Microsoft already asking the Trump administration for some help.
But I think it's persuasive, Brendo. He seems to be listening to a lot of these CEOs. So we'll see exactly whether or not, he moves on this. But here's what they want. They want exemptions specifically for India, Switzerland, and Israel. And there's this tier system of trust with the United States. These companies fall in the second tier of a three-tier system. And he's concerned, Satya Nadella that is, obviously, he's concerned that if you push away these countries, they're going to go to China. And they're concerned about Huawei stepping in. We saw Nvidia specifically mention Huawei by name yesterday, saying that they were catching up in chip development. So Microsoft looking to warn them that limiting AI chip access for allies may push them toward Chinese alternatives. So I have to see how that all works out.
It's very long-winded, but it's all over the internet. I mean, just go Google it if you want to read through it. I mean, it's maybe 10 or so paragraphs long, but very in-depth investigation or explanation, I guess I should say. From Microsoft, there's guys on AI chip exports.
AI chip exports.
Yeah, we'll read that. We'll get right on.
I'll read that when I get a second.
Yeah, on the train? No. Oh, I didn't take the train today. No, it doesn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna read it.
You don't think so?
No, I probably won't read it.
I was thinking about it.
I probably won't even put it in ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it. I probably won't even do that.
Oh, that's just good. Oh,
I've never even done that. I've never even done that. I've never put anything into chat and said summarize. It's crazy.
It's pretty useful, especially like these short seller reports.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing that.
Oh no, I see the useful.
You just you want to know what's the general basis behind it? Is it fraud or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty useful.
Education's a little overrated. So,
but as far Microsoft of the Mag 7 names, stop me if I've said this before. This is the one that's just not as tradable. In terms of volatility, it hasn't been giving it to you. The good news for Microsoft, we keep sort of saying this, is it hasn't really broken down the August low. But when we talk about things that are underneath the 50 period, the 200 period, there's a lot of stocks that are bouncing off it. This has been just hanging out underneath, and about the only thing that's good recently for them is it hasn't completely fallen apart underneath the August lows. That's about it. It just has not been moving. I think at this point, there's just so much more excitement for Meta, for Google, Amazon's pulled back obviously, but a lot of them have pulled back. Yeah, my fear for Microsoft is if you do lose this 390, then what? But unless it trades down there, I don't see any excitement for myself in Microsoft today. Sean mentioned you got Amazon, which is out and about after a huge reversal a couple of days ago. That's a trading vehicle in the Mag 7. You get this kind of a reversal, hold a higher low, potential for a breakout here, whether it's 18.5, 220 as well. Microsoft, the report's probably the most exciting thing about it. And I didn't read the report, so.
Yeah. Just looking here at the daily chart of Microsoft, I mean, we talked about this before. This name has done absolutely, I mean, you mentioned buying the one you bought in August there. This has done nothing. We're going back to January this is a year ago, right? You're at the same level. So if you've sat in Microsoft, as Neil mentioned there, we had a 20% increase in the stock market last year, I think a little more than that, 23% or so. And this name is now flat, rolling 52 weeks, right? I mean, if you come over to here, it's actually down. If you go into last February, we were up here at 420, and now we're back down, breaking through that $400 marker, giving us all the way back to January. This is last January 24, right? And so, yeah, Microsoft's been a dead stock for a year. When will it start to go? I mean, they're not able to monetize, and I mean, they're monetizing, but I don't think at the rate that obviously everyone thought they would. So we're going to have to wait to see here as the death of the computer may be there, may be true. We'll wait to see tonight with Dell when they're reporting tonight. That could help with a little bit of Microsoft. But yeah, this name's been pretty garbage, and it's not even like it's paying you a big dividend or anything like that. So I don't know, man. Waiting around for this name could be the next one to go. I don't know. To me, it's not exciting enough. We'll wait to see what they do. But I'm not Not super excited about Microsoft. That used to be the stock that I traded the most, and now I don't even look at it. So.
I don't think any day trader I know has been looking at that stock for quite a while right now. And to juxtapose, as you said, like, and this is completely anecdotal because it happens to be like the two stocks that I bought on that August day. They just happen to be, Meta and Softy. But if you look at Meta since then, obviously done a little bit different. Like it's up, even with this pullback, it's up 50%. That's a very distinctly different move. They're not the same stock, obviously. But yeah, Microsoft, it's not going to be the one. I think you got to look to a few other places. I mean, Meta's another example of a stock that just bounced the 50-period moving average, and you're looking for like a continuation rebound play. Like if this can get over 690, there's so many stocks that are going to look like this: V-shape and or rounded bottom, and then potential breakout. So the one thing to keep in mind, if you see all these stocks, like Amazon has a level like this, Meta's got a level like that, Tesla, I mean, they all do. If those breakouts fail the open, you got to be a little bit careful, because if they all get back underneath those breakout prices around the same time, it can be dangerous. Then you get caught in like a bit of a market reversal. But still feeling bullish, thanks to Nvidia.
We're adding Big Bear AI to the watch today. Sharif.
Luis.
Somebody.
Maybe.
All right, as mentioned, Luis Barbato joining us from Barcelona this morning on a day, Luis, when everybody's going to be potentially focused on big cap tech names, Nvidia specifically, Amazon with news. The guys just looking at Meta there as well. There are actually a lot of small cap names that are moving around here in the pre-market. Just on a general sense to start things off here, on a day where there is major earnings in tech, Mag 7, whatever you want to call it, and the focus of the overall market is going to be heavily on that, do you find price action, do you find liquidity, do you find trading small caps on days like that different?
Yeah, no, not actually, because most of the small caps that are moving, they have very important news, very important catalysts. So no matter if Nvidia is giving earnings or Trump is speaking or Fed is taking decisions, the news on these stocks, the catalysts are so strong that they don't really care, let's say, about the market, although we will have to take a look today to sector related to Nvidia mainly, of course. Saying this, Nvidia is not moving so much. It's pretty much flat. We expected a little bit more higher movement on the stock given to earnings.
Yeah, and the guys were touching on that after the close yesterday when that came out. I mean, if you went back to the last quarter and their earnings report going into the end of the year, the result and the movement after that was kind of nothing. It was a bit of a shoulder shrug, really. Let's get into a few of these names moving around here this morning. I mean, we typically look at stocks that are up significantly here in the pre-market. We had a good question after the last time you were actually on the show regarding stocks that are down on the morning. So instead of gapping higher, gapping lower. Do you approach those? Do you look at those just on a general sense in the same way?
Not really, not really. Higher volume and higher volatility comes from the long side. The stocks are gapping up. We only look sometimes stocks that are gapping down if it's not the first day. Let's say it has moved up like 300%, and after 2 or 3 days we have a gap down, because it's overextended up or something like that. Or in case we have reverse split or wrong calculations because of the brokers of the reverse split, and it's gapping down because we could say some inefficiency or some wrong calculation, then we look the gap down. But usually 95% is gapping up, yeah.
All right, on that, NIX, N-I-X-X, top of the list here this morning. I mean, it's 38%, not necessarily one of those triple-digit gainers yet. What are you thinking here with this one?
Yeah, it's not that strong as we expected. It is true they trade the float twice already. It's a 15 million shares float. It has already traded around 30 million. Only one gap up for the last years, 100% closing down, but not significantly, not enough data to trade, rely on data. And the pre-market is a little bit weak. We're seeing this trending down already. Only if it holds this 2.10, 2.5, and it's building a new push above VWAP or breaking VWAP, we will look for the long side. If not, we will approach to go short on every push to the VWAP or 230 to 40s level.
Each individual trader typically has their own settings when it comes to this. Somebody else, going back to the last time you were on, was asking about, you refer to VWAP a lot when it comes to moves back downside and shorting into VWAP. The time frame that you reference for that.
Time frame is always 1 minute for us, of course. Some traders even look the 30 seconds and 15 seconds chart, but most of the time we look the 1 minute chart. And yeah, VWAP is very important. Why? Because everybody is looking at it. That's how technical analysis works. It works because everyone is watching the same thing. So we trade around VWAP. If it's above VWAP, we try to avoid front side, shorting front side over the VWAP. And if it's below VWAP, I'm failing and doing these VWAP rejections on the short side, we go short against the VWAP. But of course, it's like everything in trading. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. You don't know how, you don't need to forecast what's going to happen. You need to forecast what are you going to do in each of the scenarios. So VWAP is only a reference to if you like the short or the long side more.
All right, let's get a look at some other ones moving around here. One that made a big move yesterday as well, TRNR, trying to make a push here this morning on, I mean, decent volume, not nowhere near what it was yesterday either.
Yeah, that's a nice ticker. We're going to look at this one, absolutely. We have 2 rejection on 240. So let's see if it pushes to 240, and we will look for the shorts against this resistance. I think it was a couple of days ago, it rejects 240 and even more. I don't remember, but some months ago also rejected 240. If we go 5 minutes or 50 minutes, I don't remember. There you go. We have a couple of rejections here on 230. So let's see if it pulls higher, pre-market highs, and try to break 2, we'll look for sure against this area.
A few other ones here. I mean, there's XNet, there's ICCT. What's top of your list at this point?
XNet, absolutely. It's a Chinese stock. It is true that it's not very low float. It's 60 million shares float, so it's not that small, but taking into account that it's a Chinese stock, volatility, halts, and everything will be related. That's very important. And also, it is easy to borrow, guys. So take into account this. It's very important. It's easy to borrow. So that means on every pop, every high, breaking highs, many people is going to go short because it's for free to short. So the amount of the shares that it will go short is much higher than if you have to borrow. You have to locate these shorts, right? So very important. On this one, we have I think it was 555.80, the resistance. I have closed the P Pro, so I cannot check right now, but I think it was 555.80, the resistance. So we will go short only if it goes there and start to build the short side, the back side on the short side.
Yeah, not showing much sign of breaking back down as of yet for XNET. Just quickly, RILY was another one a few people were looking at. Any thoughts on that?
Haven't checked this one yet. The only one we missed is ULY, as you can see here in our scanner. This is 120% up, float 9 million. It has traded already 40 million, so the whole company 4 times traded. It is breaking, it's very near to get the dollar, so it's very important. If it gets the dollar, we will let it breathe until 130, 140. And also important on this stock is a halt fest. Okay, we call halt fest when it's a regulator, because it closed below 70 cents the day before. Every 15 cents or 10 cents, every 15 cents or 10% movement, it's going to be halt. So it's what we call a halt fest, because every 10 cents or 15 cents is going to be halted. So it's a little bit tricky, but sometimes you have really an edge here.
Louis, great stuff, as always. Best of luck on what should be an interesting Thursday here for, I mean, the overall market in general, but lots to choose from. Good to see you, as always.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Say hi to Neil and Sean.
Hi, Louis. Of course, always.
Yeah. You know, you can just say hi to us yourself. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need Brendan, but yeah, thanks for all that. Yeah, you were talking about, you know, liquidity on the level too, and I think that's going to be an important.
Well, I was guessing, because I think, you know, one of the things that if you look at some of the names that Luis, I think they favor to trade, at least from what I can tell, there's a difference between volume and liquidity. And a lot of times you'll look at something like O'Reilly, which is doing tons of volume. Why is this here? It's still on Amazon. I guess I was looking at Amazon. which has tons of volume, but the liquidity is a little bit more inconsistent. Now, it's a pre-market, and we'll see how things turn out there. But I find a lot of times, like, there's different styles. Like, if you like O'Reilly, this is, to me, a higher percentage chance that you can have halts and those crazier candles than some of the other smaller cap names, where you might not have as sparse liquidity on that level too. But I mean, this is the one that I'm kind of watching today out of the small cap, just because of the high short float, the fact that it's a pretty solid continuation play. It's kind of breaking out some long lasting levels here at the $6.50, $7 level. So Riley's on my radar for sure. And again, all of these have fantastic volume, but liquidity can be a little bit different. I think the ones that have a higher tendency to halt, some people like to stay away from those. I think as long as you understand how quickly off the open, especially, some of these can halt and try not to get trapped in them, they're perfectly fine, because volume is going to be really high, relatively speaking, on Riley. Let's get some upgrades and downgrades, though. I had a funny feeling there could be some chip names in there, although I haven't looked.
BMO Capital Markets upgrade. Then we've got here, this is TKO getting upgraded.
Oh, it looks like we might have a...
Yeah, it's okay. Come over here. I already crowdsourced what everybody's trading here today. What a wild day. What are we trading today? Justin says, watch out for 250 in Apple. And I was like, yeah, man, we actually forgot about Apple, I did today. So we'll have to watch out for Apple 250 there. Cash Money says, look at Google. Cash Money also says, look at gold. I was like, yeah, man, like the pullback in gold right there as well. So there's a couple things. Nvidia, the BTC Klingons are back, says Adamus. What's up, Tweety? What's up to B-Dog here as well? Looking at sound. SMCI, I responded to you as well. Yeah, we've been hitting SMCI for sure lately. So what's up to Refrain as well there, and Elvon Stone and whatnot. Adara has remembered to unmute her mic.
Sorry about that there, guys. Workday up about 6% with an upgrade from BMO Capital Markets. TKO here, down in the day, but upgraded by Pivotal Research Group. Snowflake here, about 12% with a Maness, Crespi, and Hart upgrade. This is probably last night's most resounding earnings winner, so SNOW definitely on watch here. Then Urban Outfitters, another recent earnings name, getting a Telsey Advisory Group upgrade and a $59 price target. Downgrade side of things, actually a bank name, Goldman Sachs, with a Keefe Bruyette downgrade. Nvidia up on the day after earnings, but there was that gross margin coming in a bit in line, weak gross margin guidance. Regardless, they get a downgrade here from Summit Insights. Then we've got Constellation Brands here getting downgraded by Morgan Stanley. And last but not least, Barclays downgrading Sempra. Back to you.
Summit, do your thing. I never heard of them, but it is what it is. And they like an Nvidia downgrade. Look, Snowflake, they beat top bottom. Good guide. This one's set up for a bit of a break if it can get to the top today. 195, kind of like a little bit of a double top in here. It has been in resistance since the last earnings at about 190 as well. So it's got a lot of work to do to get there. The market did everyone watching probably just noticed that the market did a little bit of a dip. You saw Nvidia pull back. I mean, everything I was looking at just had a little bit of a dip in there on that in the last 5-10 minutes. But I think Snowflake, if it's going to make that breakout, you'd like to think it can get there today. I kind of pencil in as a low probability one, so I have 4 other ideas that I tweeted out, but Snowflake, the 195 breakout, it could happen. It's just, you're already at 14%. I feel like a join of a trend might be a little bit more reasonable for today, and then whenever the breakout does happen, maybe it's a continuation play tomorrow, maybe it's something a little bit next week after things settle down, because it's still sitting in the middle of a range as we speak.
All right, I have the sticky note is out right now. I'm looking at Big Bear AI, looking to see if we can do something with yesterday's sort of top there, if we can take out 620, 625. This is going to be a level that I'm looking at here today, up 4.5%. Again, good number from Snowflake, another AI name here. Should go a data name. You know, we talked about the Department of Defense last week or 2 weeks ago with that contract. Another name that I've been buying here, Big Bear AI. I'm long in my personal account. Let's go back over to the desk.
All right, let's get into everything we need to know here this morning. There's a ton moving around, as we were just talking to Lewis. There are a lot of little ones that you're going to be looking at, I'm sure.
For those, Brendo. On the How to Trade Midday show, catch those with me. But let's have a look at the futures to start off the day here on the ES March contract. We closed out at 59.70, defending again that 59.50 area on a closing basis. So we're kind of ranging here, 60.25 to the high side, 59.50 to the downside. We're a little bit below 6,000 right now, so we're going to use the same range. 60.25 to the high side if we get above 6,000. If we go below, 59.50.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you sign up for the absolutely free watch list. Comes right to your inbox every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page. And then all you need is your email. That's it. I was just counting up some of these analysts' opinions here on Jensen and Nvidia all together. I don't see one negative one. They're all maintain or even a couple of more positive type references here for Nvidia this morning. I mean, price action is fine, I guess, as we were saying before. It's good enough.
Yeah. I expected this. I mean, we zigged and zagged last time, Brendo. There was no decision until afterwards. Let's talk about how they did. So revenue, an easy beat, guys, 39.33 billion. The street was looking for 38 and change. EPS, another beat there, 89 pennies. The street wanted 84. Q1 guidance for 2025 also beat easily, $43 billion in revenue, implying a 65% year-over-year growth. But compare this to last year, when we grew 262%, so growth slowing down a little bit here. Now, they make the majority of their money, as we know, from data centers. Data center is essentially a synonym for AI. They made $35.6 billion of their $39.3 from AI data centers. That's a 93% year-over-year increase. Blackwell AI chip in high demand as well, so we'll keep tabs on that. Revenue breakdown, though, Brendo, this is interesting over here. We know their networking revenues down 9%. Gaming missed expectations, but the silver lining here, automotive revenue up 103% year over year. Basically, everyone's looking for that self-driving technology.
And we've talked a lot about how many of, I mean, not these chips specifically, but chips in general are now in cars.
Yes.
10, 15, even 20, depending on which type of vehicle you're looking at. I was just noting this note down here as well. Jensen referencing specifically some issues and hiccups, quote unquote hiccups, with the first version of the Blackwell chip, and said he praised his team for an amazing recovery. Blackwell, quote unquote, Blackwell Ultra is on track for the second half of 2025.
I like it.
Anything with Ultra
sounds bound to be good.
I mean, everything they do is going to be good. I mean, Ultra, let's see how it turns out. I mean, ultimately, all you needed to beat. I think this was one of those situations where, okay, you beat top bottom, but given what had happened in the market the last few days, you kind of wonder what would have happened if the numbers hadn't been good for Nvidia. Thankfully, we don't have to really think about that. There was a pretty decent level that got set up yesterday. I'm talking about like 132. I mean, you can argue, I'd say if we weren't so strong, I'd be talking 129 today, but no, we're strong, so I'm looking at 132. Afternoon, that's right where it closed. You go back to Tuesday, that was Tuesday's top as well. This is where it accelerates to the downside as well. It ends up being a pre-market low. So if we hold on to that, looking for long continuations here on Nvidia. There's one other chip name that will be on the radar for me, and that's going to be AMD. This is going to be about as true an over-under as I've seen in a while, because this is a stock that's just been distinctly different. And as strong as Nvidia has been, AMD has been just as weak and clearly trending down. Just made a fresh low the other day, a couple of days ago, and then held that bottom. So now double bottomed at a new 52-week low. You can see a 106.5 resistance in here. If this breaks out, I expect I'll be long Nvidia. But if this one breaks out at the open, I'll probably look for a continuation. But if it fails, the first thing I'd look for is a fail of that high for reverse. 106.5 there on AMD. It's the kind of stock where if we fail tops right away at the open, or it doesn't break out when everything else does, you generally want to be short the first phase. So I always want to have it up when we're having a strong morning, because it's usually the one thing that I would look the other direction. But Nvidia, 129, 132, looking longs both levels.
Yeah, I'm looking, I got Nvidia here. It's the #1 trade on the sticky note. I mean, we nailed the sticky note the last, I don't know, couple months has been just crazy with some of the levels. And I mean, we haven't traded them perfectly, but yesterday we had SMCI there at 52. That gave us $4. Today we have Nvidia at 131. So you can go over, if you're on it, go find me at Trader TV Sean. You'll find all the notes. I'm going to trade it right off here. So there's some consolidation that was happening right there yesterday, right before the number, and obviously right before close. And we didn't really break through 131. So I'm going to look at 131, holding it against 130. If we take out 130, then we can just stop out, lose that dollar and change, and be fine with it. So that's what I'm going to do. Wait to see if we can base out a little bit here on Nvidia. Forget about the numbers. You can look them up. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, how great it was, because it was great. It's just a matter of what will the stock market do, right? You're underneath all of the options, no matter which way you went yesterday. They're not going to be worth anything today. So you're going to have to either hold on to that and hope for a bigger move, or maybe flatten out and get whatever you can out of that trade. But, you know, here's a dip down. It could come into 132 immediately off the open. And if it does, I just want to hold this 131. I mean, we were running that VWAP yesterday. It was bouncing off in the afternoon. So let's just pretend there was no report and see what happens at 131. It's just trading as if there was nothing happening, right? I mean, NASDAQ up 0.6, Nvidia up 1.8. I mean, it's kind of like just another Thursday. So for me, I'm going long Nvidia, and it's going to be somewhere around here, 130. Well, I'm going long. I'm already bidding. So I'm already on the bid at 131. So if it comes in there, we'll get that fill. And we might even test it a little bit higher at 132. But I think patience is going to be pretty important here today for Nvidia. AMD has been a monster trade. Obviously, we talked about that 108, 109 the other day. And then yesterday we hit a AMD as well. It was my number one P&L name yesterday by far. And it was just shorting right here. So we shorted this level, 105.80. That's where we were short. We brought it all the way down into 104. So just a great couple trades there for AMD yesterday. Reloaded it off VWAP again. So it traded out really well. So yeah, I'm still looking short on AMD, but today's a long day for me on Nvidia. Yeah, I asked you, I said, why in the world were there there were like 30 of these sandwiches on the other side?
That's a lot.
So it's like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know, our caterers here.
How many people?
Last time I had one of these, is there actually egg in this one, or is it just sausage?
It's egg and sausage. I already had one. It's yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, thanks.
I'm not can't eat the second one. Yo, Joe, you want this?
Joe can just go get one. There's literally 40 over there.
Throw it out.
They're gonna throw them all out.
That's the sad part, is they are gonna get there's so many they are gonna.
Anyways, I won't be having that. But thank you, Randy, for that. Maybe we'll grab the egg out of there. That's for sure. Donald Trump confirming, of course, that there's going to be tariffs on Canada on March 4th, and then an extra, he said, 10% on China. So GM, down to 47.60 right now. FXI, oh boy. 36.25 yesterday. We bought that level. That was a sticky note level yesterday. 36.25 is what we wrote down on yesterday's sticky note. Look at this, come into 36.25 and then ripped up, right? And so like you could see today's note. It's fine, it's right here. But if we scroll down to see yesterday's note, there it is right here, 36.25 for FXI. So yesterday, I mean, there it is. There's 36.25. Came right in. We bought that dip. Went up to T-Money and everybody there, exploding there into the close. We had a great bunch of trades from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. yesterday. And then we had the record viewership at the close of over 18,000 of you. So we want to thank everybody for coming through yesterday. FXI, look at that. There's that additional 10% move there for China. So it's going to be bad with the tariffs. I mean, this guy just can't shut his mouth about all that stuff. I mean, I think it's great for America, obviously, as they starting to get paid on some of this trade deficit. So I can definitely understand what he's doing. And he's basically, as Donald Trump promised all this stuff, and
he said he was doing it.
So that's why I'm not hating on any of it. It just kind of, for the stock market, it gives us those ebbs and flows. So you just got to trade off of that. So we'll watch FXI today.
Go to crypto here, back to the upside to the tune of about 2% here for IBIT. Anything related? Even I noticed Hood this morning was not HOD, HOOD. Hood was off to a pretty good start here, 5.5%. So relative strength in some of the equities versus crypto in general.
Yeah, it was interesting yesterday. We didn't really understand why the crypto was selling off. Did a little bit of a deeper dive. There was obviously that hack over the weekend, that North Korean hack that stole a substantial amount of crypto. There's also the fact that we may not get as many interest rates in 25. And this is still, believe what you want, categorized as a speculative asset. But Marathon Digital did report yesterday, and they did quite well. So earnings, a huge earnings surprise, Brendo, of 487.5%. They printed $1.24 per share. The street was looking for 32-penny loss. So a marked difference there. Revenue was also quite strong. Revenue came in at $214 million, handily beating estimates there by 12.25%. The shares are still down, though, 26% year to date. Now, with respect to the guidance, here's what they're talking about now. They're talking about EPS of about minus 10 cents per share on revenue of $223.65 million. So it's up 13% over here. Not a bad look for Marathon.
Yeah, up this morning as well. Here's, IBIT, the trend guy, still very much downside. I was just looking at coin as well, trying to get back above 220, but failing here. This thing's still solidly in a downtrend.
You're definitely still in that downtrend. You're underneath on Bitcoin that prior support we had at like 88. So the gap, as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing to fill just yet. But if we do have any kind of a rally day today, Mara is worth looking at. And I'm not a huge fan of the miners in general. Usually we're looking for shorts on it, but when this is gapping up, it's got a decent enough short float. Let me just double check because I haven't looked at it. Yeah, it's still 25%. Still 25% short here on Mara. You got a 14.4 in here that goes back to Tuesday. Double top in there now when you look at the pre-market. So there's some room for it to break that, get to 15, and then rally. You have to keep your eye on Bitcoin when you're trading this thing. If there's any kind of a flush or strong downward move, more than likely to follow it. But Mara up that 14 points. The price action looks good. It's got relative strength because of the catalyst. It's got relative volume for the same reason. So this is where I'm looking as 14.4 Mara break.
I mean, thinking about Mara is it was just 2 days ago, it was at its 52-week low. So you are getting a nice little bump right there. I mean, here's what the chart looks like on E-signal. There it is right there, 12.05 there was the low. I guess it was yesterday, actually, that it was just put in. So nice move down there for Mara. Yeah, obviously we're liking it up here at $14. I still think you're going to try to fade this name. So for me, Mara's, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to try to take this one short. Up 13%. I do understand that there is going to be a short float there. So I'd watch out for that. I saw that you were buying some crypto, obviously, when you were off there. So was I. Down to 86 and change. Not great. I'm still not in love with what's happening with Bitcoin. I mean, I like to see this thing above that 88,000 mark and try to hold it. So for me, for Mara, unfortunately, I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of traders here that are going to want to go long on this name for sure. But I'm going to just say, whoa, I want to, yeah, there it is. I was going to say I want this to break through. And I mean, obviously that's going to be a level. I think that will get tested 1440, even 1450, 1460. But if you do get that extra little 5% or so, 10% even bump from here up into $15, put that at 20% or so, then I think that's the marker to hit the short. So yeah, Mara's a great trade today. I'm just not in love with anything crypto long until it gets going a little bit. And I'm nervous about the NASDAQ. I mean, it's dipping and diving here, and now it's come all the way back up, and we know the correlation between the NASDAQ and crypto is very, very strong. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening on the top side right there. Nice move right back into pre-market lows, and now we're trying to go up to pre-market highs. Very, very volatile here on not much economic numbers coming through, and then we already have the Nvidia print behind us. So I'm going to wait on Mara and just wait to see what happens with crypto. But Coinbase has been pretty much a disaster. It was 260, 270 there, and you're falling off. I don't know why that still stays Mara. I'm trying to show you what's been happening with Coinbase. But there it is, just kind of straight down as we see the pain that happens in some of the altcoins. But the thing about it is, I'm not really sure why Coinbase goes down when Bitcoin goes down, to be completely honest with you. Maybe I got to look at what the relationship is right there, because I know that there's a lot of trading happening right now in this space. So trading revenues should be okay for Coinbase. I guess it's just a lack of confidence, right? The more people think that the crypto game is potentially winding down a little bit there, as many of you, it was basically 50-50. I think it was 52-48, where a lot of you were just fleeing yesterday. So congratulations, those of you that said yes, you just lost $4,000 because it's bounced back up a little bit. So people were selling it.
Fleeing.
Even Joe, I mean, people were like, yeah, we're selling this thing at 82,000. I was like, okay, I was surprised that people were doing that, but that's what they were doing. So right now, back up 4,000. We'll see if crypto can hold.
Yeah. Let's go to Snowflake here. 13% right now. Nice beat for them, expanding their Microsoft partnership that was already in place to include some OpenAI and AI activity in general. But I mean, there's not much in the way of negativity to mention here for Snow across the board.
An easy beat, Brendo. Q4 revenue easily beat $986 million in revenue, handily exceeding the $955 expected. Now, with respect, to the first quarter guide, they're guiding $955 to $960 ahead of the $949 expected by the street. Now, with respect to full 2026, fiscal 2026, I should mention, revenue, they're expecting to grow 24% up to $4.2 billion. 4.28 billion, exceeding the street's expectations of 4.21, and they're growing aggressively here with some partnerships. Brendo, they've integrating OpenAI models into their Snowflake Cortex AI. They're also doing business here with AWS for cloud-based solutions, and they're really looking to expand, or they are expanding, demand for their enterprise data and AI data solutions. So looking to expand. Did I say expand enough?
Maybe one more time.
Okay.
Yes, expanding to the upside there, Snowflake, up that 13 points. What I love about this on the daily chart is it's like a wild, large bull flag here on the daily. It's not really, this probably doesn't even fit the definition of a bull flag, but what you do have is a consolidation, at least, where it found support at 150. That was the first support after they reported their last report. So it's looking good. I just don't know that, I said this before, I don't know if you get the 195 breakout today. It's kind of sitting in the middle of nowhere. You're a ways away from that 50 period. You still have $6, $7 to go to break out that top. The name and the kind of adjacent name I was looking at was the continuation on Palantir. Oh, that's right, because it's went to the NASDAQ, so you only have it from the NASDAQ. But it bounced off that 50 period, held the bottom twice. You got a consolidation day yesterday after holding that 50 period on Palantir. You got 94 quarters set for a breakout right now. That's going to be like Monday and Tuesday's top. A little bit of a double top for the break at 94 and a quarter. There's support, in theory, down at that 86 to 88 level in front of that 50 period on the daily. So, I'm kind of looking at Palantir. Maybe Snowflake does get that 195. I feel like it'll be a little overstretched if it gets there at the open. So I'm unlikely to take that breakout, but it's on the radar. Definitely going to have it on my iPad. Going to have some alerts set out for it if we get there in the next couple of days. But Palantir breaking out this 94 quarter, looking for the longs.
Yeah, I know Neil said it's kind of looking at Palantir. I have Palantir directly in my sights today. We have it at $90 long. So, I mean, let's see if we get a good move here early, which is happening as we speak. Let's see if we get that dip that we've had many, many times. Snow's obviously helping the name right here today. So for me, Palantir has to be a big trade, and I'm here to make it. So we'll wait to see if we can come back into this 90 level. Obviously, yesterday it was holding as a short underneath that all afternoon, and then now you get that bump up. So let's see if we can come back into here. The real level is going to be like 89.50. You want to see if it breaks that to come back in. But for me, it's a buy, and we're going to start that at $90. The 200 periods here at 91. So I wonder if that's going to play. But we already mentioned here that I'm nervous a little bit about what the futures are doing. So we'll have to wait to see. But this 91 could be a play for Palantir. I'm going to be a little bit more patient. Everything I'm talking about, I'm actually bidding these levels. So we're sitting here waiting to see if we do get a drip down here. And it won't be a drip. I think it'll be a whoops down all the way down into 90 straight away off the open. We don't get imbalances till 925. And right now, remember yesterday it was all bids and we had that huge rally sort of start off the day and then obviously fizzled and we turned red at the end of the day. But right here, a couple buys on board. We talked about it yesterday. We had a monster trade at the end of the day as well. Wow. With SMR. I mean, we were long down here on SMR yesterday, 1775, closed it up near 18, and now you're getting that bump again on new scale. So I believe reporting tonight, we'll see what happens with SMR, up another 4.5% here today. I like this stock as well. So another name on radar. But the big one for me, we talked about this yesterday. I said it yesterday live on air. And I mean, again, I hope, I stick my neck out all the time. And I mean, I was like, this is a buying opportunity down there at 280. I know a lot of you were doing that. It wasn't there for too long. Even when we dipped into this 290 area, I was like, you got to buy this Salesforce dip. I like the name, like Mark Benioff, like everything that's involved there. There is 290 right there off that 200 period moving average. So I'm glad we discussed that in the after show. And I want to thank everybody for watching. We had record views yesterday. It was an absolute gem of a show. So we'll see if we can do something like that tonight as well. But 290, I really like this on Salesforce. Let's go find out the story.
Yeah, trying to bounce a little bit here, still 3%. This quote specifically caught my eye this morning, the fact that they're going to begin to look beyond CRM products specifically and look into the digital labor revolution, so the AI agents, things along that line. So, I mean, a $12 trillion market cap, potentially, according to Mark Benioff.
Yeah, the AI agent thing is going to be huge. They're already expanding that, and they're leading the way, Brendo. So I can't wait to see what 2025 brings for that. Let's talk about how they did, though. Quarterly revenue came in just a scotch below 10 billion, 9.99. It did miss the street's estimates of 10.04. Earnings per share did exceed, so they were able to shore up costs. 278 per share versus the 261 expected by the street. Now let's talk about where they're making money. They're making more money from services than they are from sales, 2.33 billion, but that was below the street's expectations of 2.37. Sales revenue came in at 2.13, also below that 2.17 the street was demanding. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is their agent force. That's basically their second generation AI agent. It was launched. It's got about 3,000 paid deals right now. It's handled, Brendo, 380,000 customer interactions, and human intervention was only required in 2% of those cases. So it's proof of concept. Now, with respect to guidance, they're also guiding quite well over here. 9.71 billion versus 9.76. The street wanted 9.9, so a bit of a miss there. And their full year 2026 target is going to be between 40.5 to 40.9 billion in revenue, implying a 7.5% growth.
And the interesting part was a lot of those, the AI feature is going to be built into their overall suite and overall platform where, for example, ChatGPT's Operator, I think it's called, the latest version that they just came out with, which is also supposed to be an agent. You have to pay the $200 a month pro plan to get access to that for ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 4P was in the was like 24 before this, so obviously with the beat on EPS, then they'll be solidly in the 20s. Whatever, they'll get recalculated. So it's still looking pretty reasonable in terms of its valuation for CRM. I don't know if this will be a trade for me today. Probably look over it like an SMCI and put that one up instead of CRM. But like Sean, I like that 200 period moving average in a general sense off 290. I think it sets you up with a good over/under level to play off of on CRM. But as far as the trade goes, I don't know if that's going to be there for me. And I sort of looked over all the names. One that stood out there was going to be SMCI. And it's more of a continuation play. They had the report, great. It was a sell the news event. It just basically stair-step to the downside. So I always look at what are the big prior levels. There's 52.5, there's 52.5, there at the open is 52, and then there's 52.25. So that's a target area for a continuation short. Had to pay a ridiculously small amount for the locates on SMCI like we do every single day, but I'll trade that instead of CRM. Great stock in the long term. I think it's now that it's actually down on the year, it's pulling into some good value levels, but it's not one that I'm buying. I like some other things at these prices, particularly like Alphabet down here. That'll be something I probably dip by in the next couple of days. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be a trade today. I'd rather trade SMCI or Palantir or Tesla or Nvidia.
Yeah, we never trade Salesforce. So yeah, good name there, down 3.5%. One of the least traded big cap names for sure here on the show. I mean, I'd like for it to split a little bit. Pretty choppy here so far in the AM. I don't know. I'm not I think that 290 because it's the 200 period moving average. I think that could be something. So looking at that as a level there, 290 to possibly hold right off the jump. So I think if you're in this, you'll look to see if that holds. I would say if it doesn't, I would drop out of it. Because it did have this move down. The quarter wasn't super. And yeah, 290. I think if we don't hold that 290, I think it might be something to get rid of. I mean, that 290 is, I mean, it's 289 and change, but that 200 period moving average is not going to be an exact number. It's just that's where support is. So if we lose it, then I do think you'd eventually trade in this 250 to 260 range. And if you're bearish on the market, then you don't want to be long Salesforce right there. Again, another disappointing report. I mean, it was down where it should be, down there about 8 or 9%. Now you're back up to 3.5%. So it's just a lot of the volatility is not there in some of these names. So for me, yeah, looking elsewhere, not odd Salesforce today. You know, even C3 AI could be a decent play here. So yeah, watch 290. I mean, that's going to be a level. It's only $5 away. I think we can get there right off the open. Try the long. If it breaks 289, you're out.
C3 AI trying to bounce off 24 here for the second time this morning after we tagged that after the close yesterday. 5.5% still to the downside. That said, there's a lot of green numbers over here, meaning that most of this was to the positive side, including some analysts with not bad notes this morning.
Absolutely, Brendo. It was a decent move here. Revenue expanded 26% year over year, a little shy of 100 million, 98.8 million, but that did exceed analyst expectations. They did post a bit of a wider than expected loss of 80.2 million. That's up from 72.6 last year, so that was a bit of a miss. EPS, adjusted loss per share of 12 cents, but that beat the 25 cents that the street was looking for. But they're really expanding what they're doing here with partnerships. Strategic partnerships are really growing. 47 agreements closed, Brendo, in Q3. That's a 74% year-over-year increase. They have partnerships with like companies like Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, McKinsey, the U.S. Department of Defense, Mars, Liberty, Coca-Cola. Brendo, all that said, I still don't know what they do.
Took the words right out of my mouth. If you zoom out a little bit here, we're right back to significant levels once again this morning here for C3 AI. You got to go all the way back to November to find some support here.
True, the balances just dropped as well. So just very quickly, Nvidia is a buy and balance of 870,000 shares with 1.7 million paired off. Tesla was just had a bit of a $3 drop. 400,000 imbalance to the sell side. You've got IonQ, which is a sell 350. QBTS is a buy 350. Oklo's in there with a buy. So some decent names. Obviously, I think Tesla, maybe Big Bear there with a 480,000 buy, and Nvidia are the big ones on the imbalance locator. Look, C3 AI, like Brendan said, I mean, it doesn't really forget about the report. It hasn't even had a real update in like a week and a half. And this is looking like it could be a flat bottom break. Like that prior support at 24 quarter, that's a ways away. I'm looking at the Tuesday bottom, 25 and a quarter. Simple over under there. Like if it can't get above 25 and a quarter at the open, that's the area I want to look for a pop and fade. But just to go over again, for anyone that didn't see it, if you're looking at that bounce or that drop that just happened in Tesla, about $3 just now, like this little drop in here, that was on the heels of a 400,000 imbalance. Some of that is getting paired off. Nvidia's actually grew, so it was 860,000 to the buy side. Now you're looking at just 9 and a quarter to the buy side on Nvidia. Yeah, it might not be one of those dip and rips if they keep this imbalance going on NVDA. I don't know if we'll get all the way down into those prior highs from yesterday.
Yeah, it's too bad. I turned to Neil about 5 minutes ago, and I was like, man, Nvidia's still ripping. And then he's like, well, imbalances are coming. I was like, it's going to be a bid, and it was. So let's see. There it goes again. It was just at 134.99. It just went up 30 cents right there, like just cleared everything on the level to get back up to the upside. Nvidia bid still there, growing actually up to $1.14 million shares. All right, so for me, for that means we're going long there. Breaking through the top of the day right now, 136 and change. I think now you got to look at 133.50 on the 200 period moving average. So there it goes. Now it's gone. This is what happens. They pair off, but we know the interest is there, so we don't have to worry about it. Big Bear also, I mean, randomly, honestly, pretty random, right? On the sticky note here today, up 5%, doing good volume, but I have it to go long. The bid's already breaking through $6.30. That's yesterday's level. So we could break through that. It's really 625. I said, let's give it a little more room and see if we can take a 630 break. So that trade's already in. So what am I doing today? We have a Riley bid right now as well. So I'm just going to sort this all alphabetically so I can find out what I'm doing. Riley bid down here at 650. So we'll see if we can get that. Amazon also bidding down here as well near 215. That's just took off.
Oh,
so we were close to 215 there again. We may have to play all these 200 period moving averages. So Amazon definitely on watch there. Palantir $90. We're bidding that. So I think that's the most likely one to come through. And then my Nvidia bid. So we have 4 trades right now that we're looking at. Imbalance locator with just a minute left. We'll have a quick little look to see what it's doing. Oops, sort by size. There we go, WCT, so I don't even know what that is. IonQ, Nvidia's right there as a bid. Joby off report 2 days ago, and Oklo. I mean, that would be something that's interesting down there as a bid, but pretty mixed buys and sells there to start. So I think I'll be looking at Palantir off the open. That will be, for me, the one that most likely fills.
Well, it's no longer going to be AMD on the offer. AMD just dropped again. A lot of times, it probably might have been a sell imbalance. I didn't see it, but the timing of it makes it pretty certain. Tried to get to that 106.5 and has already failed, so it's weak. Nvidia's strong. Tesla just hit 290. 291. Tesla's fallen like an absolute rock, everybody. 280 is a big level on Tesla. 277 is the 200 period moving average for Tesla. That's going to be one to watch for sure. Let's get that opening bell. It's Thursday and brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. Shout out to them. Scan that QR code. And Adara, ring it in 2 and 1. Let's go.
All right, foolish not to look at Nvidia, so we're going to do that right off the jump here and just have a quick look to see what winds up happening as the futures are now open and the stock market is ready to give us something today. That is for sure. All right, so there's a little bit pull back in Nvidia. As we said, it looks like Palantir is going to be the one right now that does pull back, pulls back into the 200 period moving average. We called some of these pullbacks. It's just too early right now. And I don't want to switch up my game plan and start using smaller shares to get in early. I'd rather wait to see if we can build up a play and get going. So there goes Amazon, new chip related news. So it's starting to go back up to the upside. Here goes 219, here goes 220 for Amazon. So that could be one that we look at for sure. We love Amazon around here. And I think that this 220 break is something that I'm going to take. So here comes Amazon right into 220.
Yeah, Amazon looking strong. Tesla continuing to look weak. Mara got to the top. It's still chilling out. Not really. No break high. No break of the low either. SMCI off the jump is broken down. So no pop and fade into that 52. Not going to jump too early on that name. Palantir still doing okay. I mean, it's just sitting exactly in the same range, not doing anything. It's actually Nvidia that looks like it's going to end up moving the most in here, as that's now pulled back into 133. So Nvidia starting to dip into the pre-market lows as the sell has come in, at least off the open for Nvidia. It was a buy and bounce, but they paired that off and now trending down in towards this 132 level here on Nvidia. Oh, just one more, Riley as well. Off the open, broke VWAP on Riley. You got to regain VWAP or not interested. I keep wanting to say B. Riley, but it's not. It's Riley Financial.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we'll see what's happening to the downside here I'm still on the same names. Looking at that NVIDIA, I put a bid at 131.50. Remember, we were at 131. That's kind of the level that we like. Amazon was the closest to breaking. We did have that 220 break out there, and it just didn't fill. We were lucky because I was punching the long. Now, a fade back into VWAP would be nice. That's 218 and change. I actually have a different VWAP on my e-signals. Oh, no, it's right there, sorry. 218, yeah, so there it is, so 218.50. Looks like we'll get an opportunity, and there it is, our first trade of the day in the books right now, and that is going to be Amazon. I'm going to put an offer at 219, see if we can get out of 20-25% up there, but here comes Amazon right back in. Let's be patient, though, man. We didn't write this down until 215 right there. So right now, we're in the money on Amazon. It's a good position. Let's see if we can get 50 cents, and there it is, Neil, right there. Ooh, just missed us, but close to a 50-cent winner on Amazon. It is 70. Man, it got to 95 there. I am waiting at 219 flat. So let's see if that goes through. So right now, Amazon's the only position I have. Neil's on Mara, and we'll just wait, man. I mean, Palantir is rocking to the upside. Buying that 200 period that we talked about. Yeah, that was a trade there for sure. So missed opportunity. Let's just wait on Amazon and not get too excited about it yet.
Yeah, I was about to say Palantir, so I'm glad you did. I'm actually going to cancel my Palantir bid. Is probably useless all the way down underneath 89. Like, forget about it. At least for now, we'll have to look for something a little bit distinctly different. So Mara does break out the top just now. It's held on to 14 even. Prior bar low is going to be under 14.20 and VWAP as well. So we'll give it a few pennies underneath that 420, 14.20, and then see how far it can go. Keeping in mind, Mara, this break, resistance at 1480 for sure. So we'll get a couple of legs out in front of that. We just got 52s, going to get an offer in the 60s as well on the way to 1480
There
and
goes
then 15. Let's go to Adara.
But now here urgently, this is a small cap UOY. Penny stock here just shy of $1, announcing last night that they've entered into a new credit agreement for an asset-based revolving credit facility up to $20 million. They have about 11 million share float and a 5% short float for ULY. Back to you.
We'll have a big one so far. We'll wait to see if Amazon can go down. We take 50 cents on that. We're only out of 20% of it, so we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. I'm going to start to bid again down here in and around 218, see if we can average into this one. I'm not playing Amazon anymore until, if we break this low of 217, then I'm going to get out. So I'm just going to put this order in right now so I don't have to necessarily worry too much about it. 216.84, break on that one, we'll get out. So at least now the orders are set so we can sort of play this off how we want to. Let's just check out what Nvidia is doing. 132 and change. So Nvidia is actually pulling back in quite nice right now. Let's wait to see what this name has in store for itself. Now almost flat on the day. I mean, that's not a good look. Down to 131. I mean, if we break 131, then we can reassess. I said that the ultimate out's going. Okay. All right, so I should hear Adara. We'll see if we do next time. Test my earpiece then, Andre, if you can, maybe. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, right, so I don't hear that. So, okay. 132 to the downside. I'll fix it. 132 to the downside for Nvidia. Remember, we are looking at a 131 bid. So I'm going to start the bidding at 131.50. We'll see what winds up happening here for Nvidia. But so far, so good on Amazon. We're just chilling and waiting for this one. The market's doing nothing, Neil, so I don't really...
It's complete inside day on the overall market for
Apple
sure.
doing?
I see Lewis. Yeah, it is Lewis. Apple actually breaking out, so this one looking relatively strong. It actually was not that strong compared to the market, and it's still less than the S&P and the NASDAQ. Less than the NASDAQ. It's actually the same thing as the S&P, but strong move in there for Apple.
Got Riley back.
I was just back in and out at 132 on Nvidia, but it just lost to 132. So we had 132 into 132 half. I then reloaded. It broke 132. Going to be out until we make a test of the 129 to 130 area. Mara just tagged 1480, that first resistance, and came out. So we got that target area right in here. It was 14.4 into that 14.8. We'll look for a continuation. The other thing that's going on here is while Mara has now made that move to the upside, Bitcoin is flat out not doing anything. Like nothing. Absolutely nothing happening on Bitcoin. It's Palantir that I think has gotten away from us. We like to the long. I still like a 24 quarter break, but I'd like to be into this to the long side a little bit earlier than that. If we can catch a VWAP, then we'll have to go for VWAP here on Palantir.
All right, man, there it is, man. B. Riley into this name again. So nice little move. Not again, for the first time. And again, this is a sticky no level, right? So there it is. 625. We wrote down there for Riley. And then we said, you know what? We're going to take that print. So there it is, man. We take it there. We took 640s. 625 is sort of the area that we were looking at. If it does drip down below that, then fine. But right now, a nice trade for me, on B. Riley right now, long at 640 up to 670. So hopefully all you small cap gappers and everything like that unite with me here as we trade Riley one more time. I'll start to get out a little bit. We take some out there at 67s again, and then we'll wait to see how high this name can fly. And there it is, Neil. It's another one. It's another money maker for everybody out there, 35 cents. So a nice 5-6% gain right here on Riley. So yeah, we're happy about that one, needless to say. And then Amazon's doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing. It does get a high as 220 there. We talked about that. I'm going to cancel that buy into 220 right now, and we'll wait for that stop out down through 217 if and when that does come in. We do have our first trade on Nvidia, so ignite that one up. Wow, this Riley, guys, is really going to be a good trade for me. So let's take some more out at 90. There it is, Riley up that 23%. Again, as it was written right here, if you're looking for levels, 625 for Riley right there. Now up, Neil, Like this is up like 15% from the posted level. So here we go again, man. Good day today so far. In the money on Nvidia, already cashed out on Amazon, and we wait for this rally to keep going.
Yeah, great look over there on Riley. I'm going to get right back into Mar if it gets us this reload. It's almost perfect. It goes right to resistance at that 1480 and starting to pull back in. VWAP's going to sit at the prior breakout price. That's the 14.4. So just look for an early bounce there. Palantir is absolutely on one right now. So I like VWAP in here. Anytime you have this strong of a move to the upside, still going to take the break if we take out 94 and a quarter. But until we get there, looking for the dip buy in the 92.6. As the market does nothing, I'm kind of reminded that I still want the short in AMD, and AMD doesn't want any part of getting near 106.5. AMD continuing, almost breaking the low of the day here. So yeah, wasn't too much I was looking at to the south side. This was one of them. Whenever this happens, I usually look to VWAP for an entry point. Don't want to get too far away. It's only 10 minutes in from our resistance at 106.5. Still want to give us a chance to get back into that price. But for now, AMD looking relatively weak. SMCI was the other name that we liked for a pop and fade. SMCI now down 7%. So it's not giving you anything in terms of a bounce back into the upside. Nvidia, I like 129 is the next level. So I guess I got to look at this one suddenly on NVDAs. It's cruising down toward, it was like afternoon support levels. I mean, I wasn't there to trade them, but I mean, you can see it held this like 3 times, including the open yesterday. So looking for the mean revert here on Nvidia. Want to short the pop on AMD and SMCI if there is even one. And Mara pulling back into VWAP as we speak for a reload potential. Same thing with Palantir and VWAP.
Yeah, so we, again, we put in the wrong price. We were trying to put in 129.50. Unfortunately, we got executed out, but we just punch, as soon as you do that, we just punch right back long. So we're long Nvidia. This is the, we liked 131, but here it comes right now. Looks like it wants to break a little bit lower. As we had said, it was a little bit disappointing, right? I mean, when you're looking for 9% and you come out today and basically are flat throughout the whole morning, it's going to be a tough trade here for Nvidia. We'll try it, and it looks like they're trying to buy this thing up, but at the end of the day, man, the long seem to not be winning right now on Nvidia. Will they eventually? I mean, we'll see. So let's get something out here as we start to rip out. Okay, Neil, here we go. Now here we go. Nice little upside move here for NVDA. Let's start to make sure that, okay, we got some out at 50s. That might have been the pop. You are looking for rejection pops like that. So that's why we started layering it out. We're out of a third of this trade right there. So still could fall out, but take advantage of some of these pops there on NVIDIA, especially if you have some shares. Amazon is also dripping down into that 217, that's right. So that, the NASDAQ, look at the NASDAQ. We talked about what could possibly happen, days high into days low again. So yeah, everything right now getting cracked.
Yeah, the market's cracking lower for sure. I got that reload in Mara right off VWAP, and it looks like it's going to lose that 14.20. We have our order the same place. I actually didn't even replace my stop order underneath 15, so it's just going to have to get out when we make that break. As a matter of fact, there it goes. So Mara on the reload, no good. First look, great. Second look, not so much. Nvidia still hasn't done that reversion.
Go Nvidia.
It's not that 129 yet, but it's just holding that 130. And back on over to PLTR, which lost 92s just now on Palantir. So I had a quick one at VWAP, but I'm not going to fight that stock. Pre-market support is $1.50 lower. So in and out very, very quickly off of VWAP on Palantir. Now looking to see if it can hold at 914. If it doesn't hold pre-market lows, I mean, I like 88 to 86 was the level that I'm watching on Palantir. But first things first, 129 in Nvidia coming in rather quickly. So looking for the reversion there. Unfortunately, I just opted not to chase AMD or SMCI. No point looking at them now because they're too far gone to the downside. Looking for any kind of a trend reversal here on Nvidia. It's a very steep one, but the second it closes above the trend line, I'm looking for that long.
All right, similar over there, man. We'll go 1 for 3 because Amazon lost that 217 area. We thought it was going to hold it. It's a good thing we didn't punch long and then at 220, man. I mean, that would have been bad. So let's just wait for things to settle down a little bit. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. He ain't our president, but, there it goes. A nice move to the downside there. Don't know exactly what's causing this, but obviously it's a flush down in some of these tech names today, including NVIDIA, right? I mean, NVIDIA and Amazon, both some of those darlings that traders were for sure looking at to try to make a difference. And where where will the market bounce from? I mean, that's sort of one of the ideas. That bottom is 216.50 on Amazon, and we're right here right now. So that, this could be something that's worth a little bit of a test. It's only 945 right now. So I do think that there's a chance that we can bounce off of this level. Okay, there it goes. So we'll try it again right now, but it doesn't look like Amazon wants to hold it too much. I'm excited for Nvidia to break back above this level, but for right now, yeah, let it settle a little bit. That bottom seems to be 129.15 right now, so we'll wait to see if they can hold that. But yeah, here comes Amazon. Okay, we're just gonna again, not huge right now, but 215 is what we wrote down. So let's see if 215 is what Indeed wants to hold. So
before we go to Adara, SMCI is very close to being 10% down in SSR. So that one, potential SSR bounce incoming if we lose 46 on SMCI. Nvidia is trying to break the trend, as Sean mentioned. So looking at these two as the market flops, almost red on the NASDAQ. Let's go to Adara.
With regards to a market catalyst for this drop, I couldn't find one, but it is worth noting about, I guess, an hour ago, as mentioned earlier, we did have Donald Trump basically restating these tariff dates. Mexico and Canada tariffs will go into effect on March 4th. And on April 2nd, that will be the reciprocal tariff date. So reciprocal tariffs April 2nd, a month after we get these tariffs on March 4th. This is restated before the open. Unsure if this is the reason for this drop as we basically try to break this pre-market low here. But a little bit of context here for the NASDAQ in case you forgot. Back to you.
Yeah, well, we didn't forget too much about those tariffs. I mean, I was just talking about them, like, thinking, what the heck is going on? But right now at Nvidia, yeah, I mean, again, we're fine with it. I mean, you gotta, I don't like to trade names too much on earnings days. We talked about that, but for Nvidia, it fell right into our lap. So we took it, and unfortunately, it. We had to kick it off the lap real quick right there because it did drop through. And I'm glad that we were able to get out at 130 because right now this fade seems to be pretty real on AMD as we came in up like 2 or 3%, right? Now you're down that 1 and a bit percent point. So yeah, and then, obviously AMD, you're going to talk about being short on, like, why would you even be in the space if you're not in Nvidia? So yeah, I mean, people probably thinking the same way. Why be in this name if we don't have to be? So right now there goes AMD to the downside. And I mean, yeah, if things are going to dry up in this space, it's not going to be good for many names. So we're going to have to wait to see what's happening right here.
If growth slows, the biggest deal for AMD and to an extent some others is going to be that the overall space is huge and they don't have to get that big of the pie. If that slows down, I don't see that as a positive for AMD at all. The issue is, and I say this a lot, and on one of these days, sometimes if you like AMD short, you need to just be sitting in it in the pre-market, which is not something I usually do on those bigger cap names. Still looking at Nvidia to try to close this above the trend line, which would be the first time. It's a steep one, obviously, and then here's SMCI for you. It didn't go down 10%, but it seems like it's catching a bit of a bottom at 46. I think there's at least a temp bounce starting to come in here. Let's see if I can't weasel in to steal one from Sharif in the halves on Nvidia. Give it to the prior bar low as well. So Palantir's trying to make a move. It didn't get down to our price. Nvidia certainly making a bounce and looking to close this one above that 129. We like that support on Nvidia at 129, but the market is looking very weak. If we get enough of a pushback to the upside, then I might get a chance at AMD at VWAP. Even if this goes green, I'm probably going to short this if we get to VWAP, and if we don't, I got to find my way into it somewhere. If we end up with a red day and NASDAQ goes green to red, got to be in there somewhere on AMD because that's the one we like to the south side.
Amazon might just keep going downside right now. It was just really trying to get above 216 there, and it just kept on getting hit. So Amazon's coming back in. Well, like I said, man, we'll be sitting here to try it at 215. This is the level that we wrote, but if we break too much lower than this, then we are gone. We are now underneath the RSI of 30 down here right now, and we just took a bid, so we'll see if it can work back upside right now. I got to move my water as we'll try to take off some pressure if it rips back up to the upside here, but we just saw, I feel like I saw enough, man. I mean, it didn't break above that 216 there, and I felt like it had that chance to go with the NASDAQ making that move, and the fact that it didn't right here, looks like they're going to continue to sell off Amazon. I mean, are they probably going to push this red and then maybe go green with it? But at the end of the day, that 214.50, it's just too much for me. So if it does, there it goes. So if it does break 215, we're out. So there's a 215 break now on Amazon. But let's just, like Neil was mentioning, I'm going to try to go backside on Nvidia. If it breaks through 131, we're going to try to take that long as well. And it's a nice battle back there for Nvidia, trying to come back through this 131 area. Let's see if we could do it. Amazon down here at 215. That was a level that we like, does not hold. Palantir, you had mentioned. Okay, so that's coming back
It's trying to revert
into
right
90. Now. I mean, we're bidding 90s. Let's see if that can work as well. But yeah, right now, Nvidia and Amazon really on my mind.
Well, Nvidia flew back through 130. So by the time it actually closed above trend, it basically flew $2 above the trend line. So not going to chase a down move, $2. If we get a pullback in a 129.5 somewhere in here, we'll try to grab that long. Palantir is trying to do a very similar thing. But let me just get on over to...
Wow, Nvidia just flipped again.
Yeah, Nvidia just came right back in. If it gets into the 129s, that's where I'll look for that bounce. But AMD just tried to go higher, and every single bounce is just getting sold off big time here on AMD. So I might just try to take a shot at it in the bottom end of the range and sort of give it to the opening range bottom is actually all the way at 104.80, but there was like some overnight printing, which we'll show you at prior close at 104.74. So I'm going to work off the prior close, 104.74 on AMD, and just short the next pop. You've got to take a shot at this one somewhere, and prior close is a pretty good place, and we can play it into the afternoon lows. If it breaks to VWAP, then we just take a couple of trades instead of one.
All right, will these futures go? That's really the question at this point. I'm going to take it long on Nvidia at 129. I mean, what else is moving around here? So crypto down to 85. I mean, that's not going to be good for anybody today, as that's, we said it, man. The NASDAQ and crypto tied at the hip. So as you can see, nice downside move there in NASDAQ. Looks like IBIT right now trying to follow suit as well, making those lows, right? Low of the day right now for IBIT. Okay, well, we're into Nvidia right now, and we're into Palantir. Palantir just came in through that level 2 through 90, so we'll see here. Looks like we're going to try to, I mean, if we break Nvidia downside, we're just going to punch out. I'm not going to let this thing go. We did get long at 15s here. Let's see what we can do on Palantir, or on Nvidia. Hopefully an upside push, Neil, and then we can get some money back. But for right now, okay, yes, big time money back now. Give me that money back right now. So nice little move for Nvidia. We will take advantage of that. We're already out of half already of that play. That came into 129, man. I mean, we were going to stop out if it broke 129, and it almost did. So here it comes again. Again, take advantage. Like, it comes down, and then it gets smoked back up, and then it tanks again. So we saw that rip up to 131 there. Will it happen again? I don't know. I'm offering some 50s now to get some more out. There it is. Now we have exactly half left, and we can see if it wants to fly. I am not sure. All right, Palantir into 90s. So we're going to have to put a stop order in now. How about 89? How about 89.89 right there? We'll see if that can fill out there as Alexander McGillney comes into play here. So, yeah.
LaFontaine.
Just don't want to, yeah, well, LaFontaine would be 16, so hopefully that doesn't come in. But right there it is. So there's the breakdown. Again, not worth holding. We tried it. That was a small trade. That was my bid from the open. So we didn't have too much exposure to that play right there. So Palantir does fade through. Very small hit on Palantir. Actually pretty proud of how small that hit was. Not like it was on Nvidia. We made back and then we just lost. So that last trade on Nvidia actually pays out on Nvidia.
Yeah, basically the same thing. Not to double down, but the 129 has, now it does hold again.
Yep.
So it broke 129 a second ago. It just came right back in. So if I get wicked out, I'm just going to get on the bid, reload it, and still give it to the prior low on Nvidia. The other thing tracking, wow, you've got to be kidding me. On that last bump,
I mean, Tesla's probably getting kicked.
I just chased, I don't know if you want to call it a chase, but it kind of was. Like, I just chased down AMD to try and get the short in front of the prior close and just missed it. So I'm not punching the lows on AMD. At this point, I was already willing to short it like $1 away from VWAP, and we didn't get the fill, so not going to chase it. But just came right back into that 129 on Nvidia. There's only two levels liked, really, the 32 and the 29. 29's at least attempting to hold, but it goes about 50 cents.
Home sales coming?
It goes like 50 cents, maybe like 70, and then we're already curling back in. So if we can't break 130, we're scalping the 130. As we're going to get pending home sales, I believe, in 8 minutes, not till 10 o'clock, I don't think.
No, yeah.
And Palantir, I like a reversion on Palantir, but it's not really all that close to giving us that. One more to come over to you guys with is you do have still a pretty decent range. Yeah, there goes Nvidia.
Yeah.
We scalped it into the 129.5, but it couldn't hold it. So keep on getting out of this stock. Might still hold the level. Kind of giving it one more chance, but I'm not giving it to the actual low. I'm giving it to that 129, and then if it can close a candle above the 129, then I think that's the better shot because the mean reversion happened, got on the back end instead of the front end. Last one for you before I throw back to Sean. C3 AI was another earning name that we're interested in. It's actually not moving with this market falling. So I like to short at 25.25. Just a bit of a change of plan here. I might still short it if it gets up there, but it is 100% a reversal on C3 AI if it breaks 25.5. If you're not breaking the lows and you're already down 8%, and that's a big if because it's about to break the lows now, then suddenly you'd be showing a little bit of relative strength. Of course, as soon as I posit that idea, C3 AI joins its brethren through the lows right now. So it was holding the bottoms, which I would like a breakout for, but you're not going to fight it too much. I'm going to kick myself over this AMD, I'll tell you that much. Advanced micro devices, when you like it short, you've got to just be short in the pre-market. And it wasn't that far away from the resistance level. Here, I'll give you the black chart because that's kind of frozen.
Oh man, everything's.
You could have been short this, and again, I could have been short this at 106.20 if I was willing to take it at 9.11 or 9.12, right in around here. But now you're at the lows, maybe a flat bottom break here at 103.5 or next available pop. Thankfully, we're out of all the longs right now because this market is absolutely flushing. Adara?
This part of the show is brought to you by Orogenics, or OGEN. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Orogenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orogenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
Hey, thank you, Dara. Yeah, we've talked about that day of brain health. We had Firefly on, Orogenics, all these guys on. And okay, so Google also down. I mean, Google's down to 171 right now, trying to make some lows as well. I mean, can we break out through there? 171.50 might be the top break for Google as well. So, oh boy, yeah, market be falling there today. I mean, we were. It's too bad because we were really just looking long. We got sort of horned up about Amazon. We really liked that play today, and then boom. And we were right early, man. Amazon's down $8. So, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Joe loves the name. I mean, a lot of
everyone
us are liking.
Loves. Nobody dislikes him.
Yeah. Well, someone dislikes this name for sure. Down $8 right now.
Dude, Meta's.
Yeah, no, Meta's, they're all just as bad. All right, so 213, maybe retaking that bottom. I'm still trying to go long because, again, I think the story's good here. It's just fading out with the market. That's 213, so maybe if we take 213 again, I mean, that's just right here. We could probably just do that up and down. Remember, new home, is it new home sales or let me just check out, or pending home sales, what we tweeted out there earlier today when we tweeted out the economic calendar. There it is right here. So at 10 o'clock, pending home sales coming out, right? So, and Fed Bar speaking also at 10 o'clock. You can go find that over on Twitter. Yeah, Riley, nice move back up to the upside. At least we're nailing this one today. Yeah, I know there's not too many winners here on the show, but hopefully Riley will be one for you. There it goes, a nice move upside there for Riley. Maybe Amazon starts to pump, but I'm going to wait. Pending home sales 4 minutes.
Yeah, you still have some time. There's a few earnings names that have actually gone to the wayside that we haven't talked about. Snowflake, one of them, just pulled right back. It's still up 7%, but looking relatively, I mean, it's basically weak like everything else. Just very quickly going to show you. Didn't think this would come into play, so didn't even bother with it. $172 on Snowflake. It was up at 188. There's just no way that I would have expected that would come in. You got the 50 period on the daily there, and you have some prior resistance. But all of a sudden, it's looking actually possible that Snowflake could get down to that 50 period moving average. So we've got to be ready for it in case it does. It is absolutely, and sometimes the best you can do if you got a bunch of long ideas is to just not be in them. It's as simple as that. Like Nvidia, traded it at the 2 levels I liked, and all you're doing is breaking lower. As a matter of fact, it just got to, I don't want to call it the bottom, but this was the local bottom 2 days ago, 126.5. It basically mean reversion plays at this point for me. But I kind of like Palantir a little bit more because Palantir is at our go zone. It was between 86 and 88 because of the 50 period on the daily. That's right in here on Palantir. So if this one reverts, I guess it will be the second time that we jump into it. But want to have a nice tight entry if we can grab one now that it's in the target zone.
All right. Yeah, as I said, man, I think the only winner I have today is B. Riley, loser on Nvidia, Palantir, and on Amazon. So we're gonna have to wait to see if we can get something else going here. I'm gonna look at Amazon because I really think this is a decent bottom here, forming out for AMZN. Right into some of these levels, 212-ish and change. I'm gonna again, like I kind of want to bust through that at 240. Let's try it small right here. Then, if we're gonna think about it, we'll just punch into some at 37s. And remember, what's small? It's just I'm using 1 unit right here. I think that's better the way we talk like that. Because again, share size, as we keep on talking about, is much different. So I'm going to put on 1 unit here with a max position of 10. So it's not a very big position right now to start with on Amazon. I want to go short something, but I can't. It's about waiting for something to pop up into some levels where we could possibly short. So right now, I think the revert back to the long is probably like right there, right now. Let's just do it. Let's just get some out. Because there we go. We can ring the register here at 75 on this name. So we'll take 40 cents back. Let's get some more out right now at 80. There it is. So we'll take some more out upside now at 80. So here we go. So there's a 50-cent winner back on Amazon, and maybe it goes from here. So let's let this go just a little bit. We'll put an offer in and around that 213, like 25 area. Maybe we can get that and then let it go. There it is. So at least there's a little bit of a money trade right there for us on Amazon. So I know you had the winner with Mara there, and now you're into Palantir. So let's see. Looks like we're trying to both try to catch
less than a minute.
Some of these reversions to the back end.
Yeah, less than a minute until we get that pending home sales number. But as quickly as it just come to Palantir, as quickly as it bounced off of the lows, gets to 88 and a quarter, right back into that bottom here at 87 and a half. So the local low is just underneath 87.4. If we lose that, I'm jumping out. I'm not going to be fighting any reversion past the low of the day. You can get a bounce, but if you break that low, I'm jumping out of it. Don't mind getting back in, keep the stop tight, and if we ever get a VWAP bounce, it should be pretty big. But let's get to it, Derek, because we have numbers coming out now.
Pending home sales coming through here, negative 4.6% pending home sales change. That is quite a bit below the forecast of negative 0.85, but it is actually above the previous print of negative 5.5%. So again, negative 4.6% here for the home sales change month over month. Pending homes index coming in at 70.6 versus the previous print of 74.2. Also, Fed's bar starts speaking now here at 10 a.m. We're going to be getting this Fed's Bowman here at 11:45 a.m. Then we're going to be getting Fed's Hammock coming through at 1:15. So quite a few Fed speakers. This is what the NASDAQ looks like right now. Talk about a drop to the downside. I'm not seeing any news for this drop, though. Again, it is worth noting Donald Trump did remind that we are going to be getting these tariffs on Mexico and Canada March 4th, then reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. That's the only thing I'm seeing pre-market really that could have precipitated this drop. MSTR here and these crypto names looking really similar. We know Mara had earnings. Bitcoin was poised for a bounce after a 4-day sell-off. And I believe Bitcoin's still slightly positive on the day, but these stocks that are related to the asset not looking great. Then we have these earnings names. CRM here, a little bit of these lower highs and a flat bottom for Salesforce. Snowflake, another big earnings name that was actually poised to be one of the strongest this morning, falling to the downside as well. So hard to find some strength in this market, even on names that looked promising heading into the session. Back to you.
Yeah, tell me about it there. I mean, I don't know. I was going to ask Neil, obviously got out of his Palantir there as that's dropping through. Our Amazon just dropped through as well through 212. So, yeah, man, threat of recession. I see people saying that in the chat. I don't know. All I do know is that thank God for small caps because there's Riley right there. It'll be your P&L number one by far on the day here, as it's the only winner that I have. So there goes Riley. I'm not sure what the story is over there with you, but for me right now, we're just waiting. Palantir, another move down into 86, and then that might have been the stop spot down there as well. So I don't know. I'm going to try Amazon one more time now that number's through us. So we'll see if we can get Amazon here. We'll try it. We didn't get that exact bottom. We just got stopped out through 212, but we're back into it right now. Let's see what winds up happening with Amazon. Hopefully a nice move here. We'll try to trade it back upside now, AMZN. But yeah, I've been getting hit on it. My number one P&L to the downside today is AMZN.
Yeah, for me, it'll still be Nvidia. We just took more shots at Nvidia. Oh, that's a really bad trend line. I hate it when that happens. As I'm drawing it, it puts a new candle in, which means I'll just get rid of it. But You're not actually threatening the top of this, so it doesn't matter at this moment. But Palantir does not hold at 87.5. We took it, was able to get a couple of legs out, but when it breaks the low, I'm still holding on to 2/3 of it. So tight stop, still red. It's still above 86, so I still like the mean revert play. 86 is that prior low the last couple of days, so just got to be patient. It's tracking toward a potential reversion, and then same thing here with Nvidia. That just did it again. All right. There it is. Nvidia right now just closed above that trend line since it broke VWAP. So the last bounce, which we took it on the wrong side of, we'll see if we can't get it on the right side on NVDA. Now that 126 starting to hold, and we've closed above the prior trend line, down 3.5% into a bleeding market. Well, you got lots of activity. Certainly came back to some action. And if you like the action, then hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let us know what you guys are trading, because I see a few names in there that we haven't looked at. I just saw McDonald's high a day. I guess that's where some of the strength is. The rotation could be on. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and then maybe Nvidia will go up.
Yeah, Nvidia, I hope it goes up for your sake. But yeah, for right now, man, I mean, it's all about Amazon for me. And we have the biggest position all day here on it. And I don't know, I mean, we're taking it out on the upside here. If this rips up, then we can forget about what we've done all day, because this will make the difference for me. So there it goes, man. You never know the timing. Like I knew we wanted to wait a little bit until after the imbalances, after that number came through. So pretty happy with what we're doing right now. But again, like needs to go, right? So if we can get back above, I'd look to get some more out. I mean, we're getting, look, just to show you guys, like we took a hit there, but we did buy it back. So now it's starting to go back up. Our best out there is 75s. Like to let this thing try to go. Futures now finally, I mean, maybe trying to get that going. Again, pretty epic flush down there 1% as the market really just does digest. Again, tariff talk there. The Chinese, that extra 10% that was sort of slapped on there out of nowhere. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that one. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. This is the game that we play now, that we have to keep our ear to the ground. We got to make sure that we are following any of these sort of wacky little plays out there that can just pop in and out of your blotter. So here it goes, man. Nice trade for me on Amazon. Let's see if it can get right back there to that north side. So the sky is falling, says Cameron. And I think you're right there in the chat. That is for sure. Really glad, man. Riley's still going to be the #1 stock. But again, B. Riley, just hanging out. We got a 720 fill. We are only in now 15% left of Riley, as all the concern and all my look goes right here to Amazon.
Yeah, very well. I think we're going to go to Darren in a quick second if I heard right, but we're in two reversions, Nvidia and Palantir again. So there's Nvidia. Clearly, look, 129 was the level that we liked before for a long, so we bounced into 129. That's an out for sure. Palantir just broke trend as well. So there you go, just broke trend, holding above 87, broke the prior bar at 87.5, stops underneath 87. It just got to 88. This is exactly where the sellers came in last time for the long. They started to revert it back to the downside. So if it can hold, I want to see if it can break this out and get us to 89 on Palantir. I'd say it's weaker. That's not saying much. Palantir weaker than a lot of things right now, down 1.5%, but the steepness of its downtrend is pretty clear. Tesla actually with a pretty good bounce already. This one tracking well towards VWAP in the 290 level. Tesla came very, very close to the 200 period on the daily, within like $2 a 200 period on daily. As far as I'm concerned, I think this is a 200 daily bounce on Tesla right here as we speak. But I'm in Nvidia and Palantir. Didn't see that one, and by the time I looked at it, Tesla, it was already a couple of dollars up. Now we're tracking to 128 on Nvidia. Target's 129. That was the prior support level. I look for that to turn into resistance here and then jump out. So either we get to 129 or we break the uptrend and I trail out of Nvidia. This trade can't turn into a losing trade, although the first long was.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, we'll go over to Adara, but Amazon's moving around here as well. So what's up, Adara?
I looked into McDonald's here, and we do seem to have a catalyst for this. So we know yesterday, late in the day, we heard some talk that apparently the company was going to be resisting this extra egg charge and offering a $1 McMuffin deal. They did release a statement to this effect. So for some context, other breakfast chains like Waffle House and Denny's have added an egg surcharge just due to the extreme price of eggs. As of late, McDonald's saying, no, not only are we not going to have our surcharge on our eggs, we'll actually offer you a $1 McMuffin deal. McMuffin, of course, involving eggs. So MCD apparently pleasing egg-eating consumers here. This one getting a push to the upside. I'm not seeing any other catalyst on this name, and it is worth noting its outside strength compared to the rest of the market. Back to you.
Yeah, we talked about that egg story a couple of days ago, so it's nice to see that there's some follow through there on McDonald's. And I mean, get diversified. My portfolio is diversified in different names, but well overweighted in tech names. So it's been a rough little go for the last little bit there for sure. But man, we've made back more than half of our day right now just waiting for this Amazon. So let's try to be as patient as we can with this trade as well. So now Amazon trying to go. It's already been $1 in the money. And again, it's big. It's big. So I said this yesterday. I was sort of ranting with Jose Adera and Obi last night, and Joe was here, and it was just like, if you're gonna actually trade, you should actually trade. And I mean, let's just wait to see if Amazon can go. So we just, again, when you get hit, you get hit. You got to get out. But putting on a big position down here, which this probably the biggest Amazon position maybe the show's ever had, and I'm going to continue to do that. Like we've been printing, we've been having huge trades and great trades. So once there's a level that I feel good about, we're going to try to layer into it and then try to do something like this and make a difference, right? Because if you just take small hits everywhere, you're never actually going to make any money. So you're going to have to hold something against you a little bit to let it work out, because most of the trades that you get into, you're not going to get the perfect price. So you're going to have to wait sometimes to let it develop. And then, so that's my strategy there, is to take, obviously bigger positions, let it see if it can go, take tighter stops, but at the same time, give it a little bit of room. And that's what we're trying to do right now with this trade as well. So I'm sitting now at the high of this wick where we've already gotten out at 213.40. So hopefully we can get a fill there at 213.40. And then honestly, man, let's make this make its way back up to 214, 215. So there it is right there. Actually, it was at 30, sorry. So we get that fill. I wish it was at 40. We take a little extra 10 cents there. So here goes Amazon. Now my next offer is at 213.85. So let's see if this one wants to work out right here. So nice move back to the upside now for Amazon. We're going to let it go. So we'll wait to see if it's going upside or not. But Amazon, let it breathe a little bit now. Now in the money, $1.30 and starting to go.
Yeah, and the market is making a very, very nice bounce for sure. We just bounced off 2009 on the NASDAQ, which is very, very coincidentally, not really, Tuesday's low. So you have a nice little wick bottom. Let me zoom it back in so you can see. There's your wick bottom underneath that Tuesday low. If we can close it above, I think you might have the low of the market here. Palantir is holding that 87, so it goes right into that 86 to 88 zone, trying to come outside of it to the upside. If we get into VWAP, we want to take that one out. Nvidia, however, Nvidia trailed out, broke trend back into the downside after getting in off that 126. So we're going to hold on to Palantir, giving it into VWAP. Nvidia, we did get a green trade on that one, but obviously it's our third time. So 1 for 3 on Nvidia. Palantir, hopefully we can get a little bit higher. I still am looking over at that C3 AI. And it never broke the bottom. Down 8%. I know it was down 8%, but never broke the low. While the market's breaking down, it did not break the aftermarket lows. If this can break out above VWAP, and suddenly it could be a little bit of a squeeze name. They still have a decent enough short float on C3 AI. But anything that didn't break the low just there and held it, I want to look for some reversions that I might not have thought about at the open or in the pre-market. So let's get the push here. If we can break 89, I'm going to trail this one back underneath this trend line here. Otherwise, hold on to the 89 level for Palantir. So we're able to get that long. Just had to wait for our level to come in, take 3 shots at it. Third one's a charm.
Yeah, third one's a charm on Palantir, that's for sure, and it's like the 10th one's a charm now on Nvidia, on Amazon, finally up there into 214. So I'm gonna take another offer right now at 214. We talked about trying to hold this, trying to have those hands, and that's exactly what we have right now. What's up, Hamster? You want to get a little review of what's been going on here with the new caterers? Not bad. I feel like we have the salad. I feel like they've been worse, in my opinion, so far. But yesterday we did have, and Joe loved it. We had a great piece of salmon. It was like a teriyaki salmon. I love salmon. Yeah, so that was really good there yesterday. So I told that to our lunch lady there, and she she made notes of that. So I told her that the salmon was well done. The breakfasts, I mean, those sandwiches, they're okay. I'm not impressed with the bread quality or anything like that as well. I actually...
That's what I did too. I just eat the sausage.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that going through there. Yeah, good, man. They have good muffins. Yeah, not bad. We'll see what happens. I think the lunches have been pretty good. A lot of people have liked them. And the thing is, we had the same caterer for like 2 years or so, and sometimes it's nice to get that switch up. And oh boy, Neil, here we go, man. Like I said, I'm not proud to always have the biggest losers, but this winner here, at least we talked about trying to hold it. We talked about trying to get long down there at 212, and oh boy, here we go, man. This has completely changed my day again. Man, if we just stopped trading and wait till 10 o'clock, we would just be... I don't even, the damage that we're putting right now on the freaking board is just absolutely monstrous. So what a monster trade here, Neil, for us on almost $3 right now on Amazon. And we're not messing around. We told you that we're here to trade. We're here to make some money. So Obi, Joe, Adair, and everybody, just as we talked about it last night, man, we come in and we do exactly that damn thing right now with Amazon. So there it goes, man. Monster trade on AMZN there. You had to wait for it. And I mean, look, taking all those cuts are what they are, but there's a nice move upside now for Amazon, and we're right back to where we need to be. So let's get this day started now, basically. I mean, rough start, but yeah, there it goes. Amazon, I mean, we could really fly on this. We still have about, I'm not even sure. I've traded thousands of shares of Amazon today, and I don't know what percentage we have left, but it's an upside move right now for Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I love to see. Go get it over there. I'm out of Palantir. We're green on Palantir. We'll go 2 for 3 this morning. It's just about being patient and just sticking to your plan of action. You know, if you have a price level, the market was absolutely dropping like a rocket. So you take a shot at a strong stock when it's at VWAP, and then if it doesn't give you another trade, you don't take another trade. And all you had to do is wait for it to make that low. It was 2 days ago when it showed it to you. Whether or not it can get all the way to VWAP, like we have an inside day, but look at how weak this is. It goes right into yesterday's lows, and then immediately starts seeing some selling action come in. So we just grab our buck and have no issues getting out of this at this point. I still like some AMD to the south side, but I got to be careful because this market is reverting. So AMD, still a weak name. I want to go over to Nvidia quickly for everybody. As Nvidia, I got out of it when it kind of broke that trend very, very briefly and trailed out of Nvidia. It's putting in another lower high. So you're at the point now on Nvidia where you've got the underneath VWAP a couple of times in here, and it's set up a little bit of a lower high trend. If that can break out to the upside, it gives another place to try to jump into a quick little trade because the NASDAQ has managed to hold the bottom. And as I said, the other name that I'm interested in is going to be the C3 AI. Bit of an undercover, did not break the lows, showing a little bit of strength, held on to aftermarket bottoms. C3 AI also, and again, I don't care necessarily about the fundamentals of the earnings. They're 19% short float, and when the market broke lows, it didn't break the low, and this has a decent chance to break trend while also simultaneously holding VWAP. So if you're able to break it out above this top, it'll be like 24.6. I can give it to the prior bar low. On C3 AI, if you can risk 25 to 30 cents on a trade, you know it can move a heck of a lot more than that. So we'll see if it's going to be able to go here. Going to set that breakout order just to make sure we grab it on C3 AI. And that's sort of the thing. You know, you've got to find, to me, you always want to find a setup that gives you a good R&R, where you know where you're wrong, where you feel like you're getting in at the right time. Otherwise, you just find yourself trading at prices and areas that don't end up mattering. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, find your opportunity to get in, get out, stay green, because it can be a tough one, but as long as you stay in the pocket, it's not that hard to get back into green with 1 or 2 trades out there. So C3AI, I feel like that's going to be the next one for me. And no matter how strong we get, AMD at VWAP is still going to be a thing. At least it is for me. You're still underneath prior close. 104.74 was the level we wanted to work off of. So we'll still take that one short if it wants to present itself to us on advanced micro devices. But new position, it's an earnings name. It's a potential squeeze name. I don't necessarily know what they do. We always joke about that with C3AI, but it doesn't really matter. It's broken the trend. It's above VWAP. We'll play it into that 25 and 25 quarter and see if this one can fly past that. So I'm just going to get some orders out to make sure that we're scalping it from VWAP into resistance with my stop underneath that 24 40 on C3 AI. So far, so good over here. And like I said, hit that like, hit that subscribe. One of the reasons I love this community is I wasn't looking at McDonald's. A lot of people will talk about symbols that maybe we haven't paid attention to. Maybe there's a small capper that you've been trading or interested in. That's what it's all about. Find the right opportunities in the best stocks. And you never know what it's going to be. Just because you had an idea at 9:30 or at 8:30 in the morning doesn't mean that's still the best place that you want to execute and take your trades. I think this morning was a perfect example of that. So everyone hit that like and subscribe. I see Bang Apple from TS Booger. I love that name. TS. Apple was so strong earlier, and it's one of those undercover type moves where it holds the low, and this is one of the reasons I like that C3 AI reversion, actually holds the low while the market's breaking lower. So if you don't make fresh lows when the market does, it just gives you a little bit of extra juice to like that long where you're not necessarily fighting as much. So shout out to you over there on Apple. It's distinctly different from C3 AI as it's also a good fundamental play. This is just about, I think it can squeeze because it was down 7%. I can't seem to get that first fill. Oh no, there we go. I was about to say I can't seem to get that first fill at 77, and then the second I pull up the chart, I get filled at 77. So AI, first new stock for me. We'll play it into this 25. Gonna hold on to 20% to see if it can break out 25 and a quarter, and then go from there.
Oh, man. Wow, just ran into Mateo, told him never sell. All right, I mean, we're just, got T. Just waiting to see what Amazon does, man. I mean, what other stocks you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about Tesla? Let's go over to Tesla right now. All right, so 288, all right. That 282, I mean, if you're going to talk about anything, we had mentioned this the other day. Everybody's smart until they actually put a trade on, right? I mean, Randy was here. Everybody was here talking about, like, we really like this 280 for Tesla. So if you like the 280 for Tesla, then you're probably pulling the trigger right around now. That was a good move right into 280. Again, that's the 50 period, sorry, the 200 period moving average, right? I mean, that's going to be a good opportunity. That could be another bouncing spot there for TSLA. So watch out for that. I would sort of play off that bottom wick if we're able to get back into 281 today. I mean, it's a nice recovery, man. You're up now $7 from that bottom. Obviously, we chose Amazon waiting for a $7 move there too. If that could happen, then that would be great. And we'll be right back to where we need to be. All right, what's moving around? Shopify is moving around right now. We can have a quick look to see what that's doing. Yeah, sure, in a second there, Andre, my guy. Shopify up to 113, so, you know, looking to break through VWAP there would be a decent trade. I was just trying to see what's hitting on some of these scanners. And again, Shopify on the 5-minute chart right there into the 200 period moving average. So, you know, right now, a lot of these names are actually at shorting spots. You know, the futures have come all the way back up, and a really nice move, right? I mean, that bottom was 20,900. You're up to 2109 right now, so 100 points straight there to the upside. What's the ES doing? NASDAQ down, ES up. So ES right now up 0.04 into a NASDAQ that does remain downside. So, all right, I'm going to take another piece out right now of Amazon as it's trying to fade off the 50-period moving average. You can have diamond hands as long as you want. But at the end of the day, you have to trade your book. The only one that knows how many share sizes we have is us. And so I'm going to start to piece them out, man. We still do have, and again, like I said, I'm not sure what I have from the bottom, what percentage I have left, but I would say probably 15% right now. So we're just going to start to trim some of this as it goes back up. And Amazon saved the day for your boy. That is for sure. All right, Adara at the desk.
We're doing the small cap recap from here today because there are just so many small caps. I want to really go through all of them. We're going to start here, though, with the IWM. Much like the market, kind of starting looking pretty positive, and then we get this drop here. We first get this drop around 845, then we drop further here at the open, trying to recover, almost back to flat here. And 216 right now would be kind of an interesting area in terms of a whole dollar area. We dropped actually as low as 213.5. So IWM still struggling, but trying to bounce as of right now. So we'll start here with MLGO, which is a repeat offender, as Sharif would put it. This is a small cap that has run frequently, especially lately. It's a Chinese ADR with a 4.5 million share float and a 24% short float. I could not find a catalyst on micro algo today. Then we've got this QNRX. This is QON Pharmaceuticals here. This is an American name with a 4.575 million share float, so just shy of 5 million shares. announcing that their whole body data from their ongoing pediatric Netherine syndrome study. So apparently this data positive, QNRX, pushing to the upside. Then we have LZ, LegalZoom, the first of a couple small cap earnings plays. LegalZoom here with a float here of about 111 million shares, so larger float, larger market cap, about $1.84 billion. Beating on EPS and sales estimates. Warby Parker here, WRBY, was their other big earnings small cap. This one a little bit more volatile. They actually did miss on EPS and sales, but they have an 11% short float. And promise I'm almost done here. Last but not least, PDSB, 11% short float for this name with about a 36 million share float, announcing a $2 million registered direct offering. So they've been on watch because of that. So many small caps to look at today, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dara, and shout out to Luis for going over some of those. Every other Thursday, we have Luis on trading heavily in those small cappers. Market is coming back nicely. This will be able to turn us green for sure. By the way, I want to get to Tesla. Quick adjustment on AI. Someone popped 125,000 on the bid at the prior bar low right here at 24.60. It's a break of trend anyways to the upside, so we're just going to move our stop from underneath 40 to underneath 60. Still have the next offer in front of 25, and then we'll hold to see how far it can go. But Tesla looking incredibly strong, now punching through VWAP as we speak. This market is definitely on one. All right, AMD, this is probably going to be our chance. It's still hanging out at the lows. If this is going to get a press with the market, if the market goes green, I expect AMD should be able to get to VWAP, and we'll take our first short of the day on this bad boy. It was this, and it was SMCI. Those were the two names that we liked. Southbound. SMCI is now SSR down over. It went well over 10% to the downside. So it's SSR. That'll make me like AMD just a little bit better for the fade. But SMCI also going to be at VWAP.
We didn't look at Big Bear AI. Out more at 215, man. We were talking about the threes, man. Like Steph Curry over here, $3 in the money right now. So let's see what winds up happening. All right, so Big Bear does not, I mean, we weren't, I have the break of 625. I mean, that's what we wrote down. That was nowhere near. I mean, obviously, as the market came in there, Big Bear got crushed as well to the downside. I don't know, you know, we talked about wanting to buy this at the 50-period moving average. We've been buying it, so our average price, I'll find out for you and I'll get back to you on the after show, on the afternoon show, and we'll talk about what my average price is on Big Bear. I'll probably buy a little bit more today. I still like the stock down here, so pretty good. And I'm already loaded up in all of these names, so yeah, BB, nice up again, yeah. Okay, again, more and more outs there on Amazon. We said we had about 15%. We got more out there at 215. So I'd say we probably have about like 12 or so % left of that bottom pick. So let's look for something else. Right now, we did talk about Shopify. Let me have a quick look back in on that name because I don't mind when things are dancing around here. We got well extended, man. I mean, every stock probably RSI broke at one point there in and around 10 o'clock. I mean, to rewound the clock and take advantage of some of those dips. I mean, we did do it with Amazon, like I said. But at the end of the day, could have really bought anything at that bottom, including the Shopify down there to that 110 area. So, yeah, look. I'd rather see it break and hold. So for me, for Shopify right now, again, I like the stock. It's only down 0.7, which is actually more than the NASDAQ. So maybe it's not that great. I'm looking at it right here. That's why I wanted to look at this again to show everybody. This 113 break, that's not horrible. It does have that chance to get back to 114 if it does hit that, and then you can use your 200 period as your stop. So stop would be 112.50 on a 113 break for Shopify. I mean, that came in yesterday there. Again, I stopped the chart. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we closed yesterday on this name. This is a 5-minute chart, so nice little close up here around 114. I think we can get back going, but again, more negative than the market. So watch out for a 113 break. Came up on the scanners, right? I mean, we've got Meta on here, Oracle, Affirm, Broadcom, Boeing, Broadcom again. So Broadcom must be bouncing off of something. And again, what a surprise. I mean, on Nvidia day, there's going to be Broadcom talk. Neil's looking for AMD. I'm looking for Nvidia and Broadcom, one of those names again. Like, yeah, so this is probably what it's hitting for me right now, why we're seeing it, hitting the 50-period moving average. So Broadcom right now dancing back and forth. It looks like it wants to go. We can see if we can trade some Broadcom. Nvidia, choppy and nasty. This will be my #1 stock to the downside there today. And we just took a couple shots, really, really in the pocket for me. We didn't lose any more than we're comfortable losing on Nvidia. Nvidia, which is pretty good. But look at the short, though, off the 50 period. You know, you got to break this clean. And when we do, then maybe it goes. So a clean break for me is 129. Like right there, like not just right here. That's 128.50. The problem is you go long 128.50, you run into the top that we've already seen hold. So yeah, I'll probably put in a long into the account. It's already 10.27. So we can put that order in to see if it pops through, and if it does, we'll take it. But right now, I don't feel like catching a falling sword. I'd rather play momentum back upside on NVDA. So I think we'll put that trade in, a break of 129 on NVIDIA. We like that. But realistically, man, I mean, we're saved by Amazon. This was an absolute monster trade. We told you, you know, a bigger position. We've traded, again, more share. We've traded double the amount of shares on Amazon than we did on Nvidia today, although we're still in the thousands for Nvidia. Amazon is what we're looking at right now. So 215, put another offer there. If we can get it, great. My next offer after that is 215.12. So I'm going to sit there. Let's sit on like the Bats Gateway or something. Take a fill if it goes back upside. We'll just put out about 10% out. And if we can get that, then good on that. But that's what I'm dealing with. If there's anything else you guys want to look at, then we'll go from there. But Nvidia, Palantir, Amazon, Riley, and BBAI. Riley going to be the P&L number. Despite all this trading, Neil, Riley will be P&L number one. And that came in real early and it just kept on going to the upside. So good trading there on Riley. Again, who would have thought that would be our number one stock? But it is. It's Riley.
Who would have thought Visa, MasterCard would be so strong? I've seen like 5 people in the chat now asking about Visa and Microsoft in here. Adara, I believe, well, I don't know if she responded, but was asked, is there any news? I didn't see, there's nothing in particular there on either one of those names. I'm going to get to HIMS in a second because that's a heck of a V-shaped recovery. So I've seen no news for Visa and MasterCard, but I think you're looking at the right idea when you're finding the relative strength. So whether you pull up Visa or MasterCard, both of these incredibly strong. It's fresh highs, it's a breakout, you know, blue sky setup here on Visa. But as you might have noticed, I'm looking at HIMS because, again, let's just keep it really simple, did not break prior low, had a huge V shape, and is now taking out, at least attempting to take out yesterday's highs with a sizable gap above that 44 here on HIMS. So it's doing a little bit of a pullback off of that high break. If it can bounce off VWAP, I want to join this to the long side. It's a squeezable type of name. It's a similar setup to what we just did with C3AI, only with C3AI we did it off VWAP, quick scalp trade. This one just distinctly stronger with a similar early look. Let's go to Adara.
We're going to talk crypto, but also I did look into Visa, MasterCard. I'm not seeing anything on either. I apologize. I didn't see it in the chat because I'm not checking as frequently during these opening hours. But I will check on social media. There's zero news, though, to suggest any move on Visa or MasterCard that I can say. Now, let's talk about Mara, because Marathon Digital was actually an earnings name, initially really strong here. We opened and basically initially pushed to the downside right off the open. So what happened here? They did actually beat on earnings per share. As Sharif mentioned, it was quite a hefty beat, $1.24 versus 68 cents expected. Sales also a beat. Their revenue for the fiscal year was actually up 69% year over year. And apparently the direct energy cost per Bitcoin mining came in at $28,000. They mined 2,492 Bitcoin during the quarter and purchased 15,574 Bitcoin. So those are their Bitcoin numbers. That is the deal there with MARA and their earnings. Bitcoin here itself looking continuously like this very bearish kind of rounded top type look. We did get a bit of a double top, of course, when we made that new all-time high, then pushing to the downside. We're right now, we're still poised potentially to break a 4-day selling streak, but some of that initial optimism and push to the upside this morning has waned quite significantly. Ethereum's actually down about 5% here, back to this 2,300 level. XRP down 4%, BNB 2.5%, Doge about 1%, Cardano about 2.3%. So nothing significantly weak, but all a little bit subdued to the downside today, guys. Back to you.
Subdued, I like that term.
2740s. Yeah, good term. So, again, we talked about getting more out of Amazon. It's the only position I have. I mean, the Riley position, that's already been a good one. I mean, we'll wait. Should have shorted this. The market rallied all the way back. What's my dog doing? Oh, there it is. Nice. Today, my dog's watching the show on the laptop right here. My wife just sent me a picture. All right, $77, $78 right now. I'll show it to you. Open
I missed
image in new tab. Yeah, it's just right here. Hard to see, but there's her resting her face on the table. But she needs get a haircut, girl. Okay, so actually, no, don't. It'd be probably too expensive. All right, so 78.
Where's the cuteness?
Yeah, the cuteness is unreal. I know you guys have gone back and forth, and I know some people in your family don't want to have dogs, but like, wow, that's instant love, man. Everybody that has a dog, like, amazing. I had Guido, the Italian pug, and now we have Belle, and she's a cockapoo. And honestly, without her, well, she just means so much to our family. Anyways, those of you that have dogs know what I'm talking about, and I know Brendan as well, very, very fond of said animal. Okay, so yeah, look, for the NASDAQ, right up there into 7750, I really, really like that level. So if we can break there, 7750, I think that we can go short. The VWAP's at 7777 or so. So if we can get it back upside, I do like that short. The market traveled real nice back upside right now. There's no more numbers coming. We do have some Feds going to be rolling out a little bit. We had Barr at 10. I don't know what's going on. I still have these guys in my ear. I'm not really hearing anything right now. So if there's anything that talks, Dara's sort of brought us. We talked a little bit about that. I dropped you the knowledge of those 10% tariff and everything in the pre-market when we looked at FXI. And that seems like that's going to be hitting China again, obviously, as we worry about some of the chip names, and we worry about Nvidia today, and we worry about Amazon and all of this, because today Nvidia real negative off that report.
Yep.
It was positive. People were thinking pretty good about it. Then the real money came in, and then this is what's happening. And right now, you're right back to day's low on NVDA. So a big whoosh in that name as well here today. So I don't know, like for me today, it's been a little bit of a rough day. We'll hold on to this Amazon. I'll be red. I'm not sure what Neil's up to, but at the end of the day, we're just going to wait for Amazon. We're not red that much or anything like that. It's a good thing that we did get that Amazon back. I am waiting. And again, it's like, look at the 50-period moving average, right? It's like I said, I didn't want to go long until we broke above it. And that seems to be like the right play. I don't have a problem trying to go long now against this bottom in case the market does turn around. We've seen Nvidia get juiced up. Another name that's been juiced up, obviously, is Tesla there today. I mean, that just came right up to the 200 again. And this is what I mean about trading less names. It's like if you're just sitting here looking at Tesla, you probably would consider that short. You might have got burnt off the short rate there as well, but nice move there for Tesla, straight up to the upside. I'm going to dance with the devil a little bit here on Nvidia, take a 65 fill, 66 fill there, and see what winds up happening. That low of the day is not 123.56. It is 125.20, let's say 125.25. So you're right down there. We still have a little bit of a ways to go. So as we said again, I'll start this trade. The last time I started a trade with 10% or a 1 unit, it did not work out. Here, this one's coming right back in as well. So let's see if it wants to work out for itself. We did get some more Amazon out for $2. We got a lot of it out up here for $3 at $2.15. Let's see if Amazon and Nvidia both want to hold. All right. What's not holding, though? It looks like crypto. Yeah, and HIMS, I guess.
Well, okay, HIMS did not hold the high, but now we got to wait for maybe to get into VWAP on him. So it did not hold that high breakout, as you can very clearly see, rejected 45. It's still pulling back into VWAP. You just saw the market starting to pull back as well. So just got to be a little bit patient. It's a relatively strong name. I shouldn't say something like super strong, but I'd like to be able to get this either at VWAP or we can just hold this prior bar high. At 43.86, close it above 44, and look for that long with a tight stop, and then play it back into yesterday's high. Simple way to put it. Let's go to Adara. 10:36.
Let's go A.
We're going to talk here about NCLH because they actually were an earnings play, sold off with the rest of the market this morning, but bouncing a little bit. And it looks like we are having some comments coming through from their executives right now, the company saying that they're seeing no pullback in onboard spending. So onboard spending apparently is cruising as normal for NCLH. Also, I want to talk about Visa and MasterCard. I looked into this. As I mentioned earlier, no news, but a lot of social media attention for both. And we're talking multiple tweets a minute, which you usually don't see for names like Visa and MasterCard. Looks like there's a bit of social media attention, which usually suggests that we have some retail investors watching. So retail investor interest, as far as I can tell, is what's motivating Visa and MasterCard here. But of course, if I see anything else, I will let you guys know. And we are brought to you today by eSignal. Traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize, because our platform is everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts predicted with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. So do not miss out. Execute your best trades now with eSignal. Are you ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Back to you.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, at least we got it now. I mean, there goes Nvidia. We're now 50 cents in the money. We just put this trade on. I mean, I hope some of you are taking some of it out, as I am. Our best out is 127.15. So I'm taking more. There it is. Oh, it's on 127.15 right now. Let's put another offer right there. Let's go to 11s and see if we can get that out right there. There it goes. So it's a nice play again for us there. Yes, Neil, another play right here for us, coming through on Nvidia. We're here, man. We're live. We're doing it live. We're putting these trades on live. There it goes. So I don't know if you want to discuss your most recent position, but there's Nvidia, Neil. We just put it on into Dollar Club. Welcome to the Dollar Club, Nvidia. There it goes, man. Boom goes the dynamite here as we bring the energy no matter who. What's up, Sharif? Hope you're doing well as well. That always smells so damn good, man. But here we go. It's a nice move. It's another Dollar Club winner. We have $3 on Amazon. We've got $1 here on Nvidia. Go kill him with kindness, Neil.
Yeah, we'll kill him. Kind of great look over there on Nvidia. I can't even tell what's in that bowl, but you're right. It smells delicious. Sharif just showed it to me, and I have no idea what's in there. It just looks like
tons of rice.
Is it rice? There's got to be protein in there somewhere. Anyways, it does. No, but he puts it in the microwave, and then the entire trading floor smells.
It's eggs, Neil. Eggs.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, from a distance, it looks like rice. Shout out to Trade Ideas, apparently as well. It does smell delicious.
My wife killed it with this crazy salad yesterday, man. I am so blessed. Every day I'm like, man, thankfully you said yes, man. That is for damn sure. Okay, so Amazon right now, nice backup move again for them. Let's take out some more pieces here on Amazon. Wow, what a big day, man. Riley, again, a good day for us. Amazon, we turn our frown completely upside down with $1 here on Nvidia. So let's just go. I'm going to hands up in the air and let's just wave it like we just don't care and go. It's going to be a big day for us. I'm already feeling it, and I hope you guys are as well. So, yeah, going to be a big one there. And I'm going to, I saw a meme the other day, and it was like the guy got his hair cut, and then he paid his barber in eggs. And I thought that was pretty fun to see that. I might take a little dozen over there to Halim and see what he's up to.
I'm sure
these days right now as well, man. I got a family to feed, man. We got to watch out for that. Go to Costco, grab some eggs, and start paying people off with some poultry type products. So, all right, nice move to the upside right now for everything. We're here, we're live, man. We're being who we are, and hopefully it's going to be even a better day than what we've seen so far, and I think that's about to happen because we're going over to the big screen with Adara.
As usual, the tech sector really driving the market. What's fun about the sector board is you can kind of see not only what the whole market's doing, but what is leading to this directionality. We are still a little bit red on the NASDAQ, and with that in mind, really the only sharply red sector is going to be tech. Nvidia, Broadcom, both selling off here. Of course, Nvidia earnings day one. Apple trying to hold down the fort. Cisco looking pretty nice as well, but Nvidia really winning out here. Then we have technology services, which is oddly pretty flat, but there is some weakness in CRM on earnings day one. Netflix, Google, and Oracle selling off as well. Meta and Microsoft not doing too much of anything so far. Finance incredibly strong here across the board. BRKB leading the way. JPM, we have the Bank of America all really strong. And of course, as mentioned earlier, Visa and MasterCard both looking great here as well in commercial services. So it looks like this might be a finance-related play to the upside. Consumer services, great. Health technology, great. Consumer non-durables having some strength as well. Energy minerals, health services, bouncing back after a couple days of weakness. Utilities is another weaker sector here, and it looks like VST is the reason for that. This is another earnings name that gapped up, but pushed lower. And if you're not aware, Vistra is actually an AI play as well due to their data center work. So VST and utilities weak along with Nvidia here. Back to you.
Well, that's sort of the thing. They're the power behind the new data centers out there. So whether it's Constellation or Vistra or GE Vernova, a lot of them have been under a tremendous amount of pressure. HIMS just failed again at 45. So like every single time it tries to hold this breakout, you're seeing the topping tail candles come in. It hasn't got VWAP, but it's held on to 44. So as long as it holds on 44, maybe there isn't going to be a VWAP trade on this. And we got to look for the 44 entry. The other name, and I hate to say it, But Palantir, wanted to only be long on Palantir. Maybe it'll end up being a 90 breakout here. But yeah, you got to look at this. It was yesterday's afternoon and aftermarket tops at this 90. If we can't break this one out, might just have to look for another mean reversion, but this time in the other direction on Palantir. So if Palantir breaks this trend, just joining the low of the day with that recent dip here into 88.7, we break that trend, I'll actually look for a short. All bets are off if we take out VWAP here on Palantir. So it's HIMS, new one, Palantir, which is one that we're waiting for that 86 to 88 level. Thankfully, we were able to finally get that bottom. But remember, I'd taken the long really early and gotten out for a loss. So we'll see if we can get the trend break on Palantir. That'd be a reversion back toward the low. I'd much prefer it actually go higher. That way we can start playing it off of VWAP and HIMS, which is one of the strongest names out there in the market. Maybe this is the time it holds a bit of over 45. But I've been trying to catch it right back in here in front of VWAP. It might just end up being a breakout trade for HIMS. I love what's setting up in terms of the big gap that you've got above 45 into like 50 and 52. But it's failed that top too many times to want the long at the high of the day, especially at this time. I do not like breaks at the high between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. I think it's a time you want to be patient more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I think patience rules the day. I mean, I know we've talked about it here. No. If I was just patient, like a little more patient, but I mean, you never know. This is again what we were talking about yesterday. Like you never know where that bottom's going to be. We tried it at 215. That's the level that we liked here on Amazon. But again, it was going to be a top trade idea for us, and so I wanted to stick with it. And just like we went back over to the number one idea on the sticky note as well with Nvidia, we just got right back into that into 126. I was actually waiting for more to come through here on that dip, but apparently we do not get that. So now we'll have to wait to see what's going on with Amazon here into the close. With Nvidia. Now it's still $1. We're $1 in the money. We're happy with it. We're battling back here today, big time. All right, Amazon. All right, Nvidia. Let's go, man. There it goes. We're sitting in $4 worth of a win. So far, so good here on the market. So we got $2.50, on Amazon. We've got $1 on Nvidia, and we've got 25 cents, a big 25 cents on Mr. Riley's neighborhood. So we'll wait to see if that comes up. I mean, I'm waiting here at VWAP for this. We only have 10% left of this trade, so it's not like it's going to be a huge one. We were able to get out pretty much all of them right here. We only had 50% left by the time it went to the upside. Each one of these is, again, another 10% out. So far, so good. Can obviously not be read here on Riley, and nor will we be. This is still going to be, believe it or not, out of all the trading that we've all done today, this is still going to be the number one stock P&L-wise for us here today is Riley. So, wow, on that one. And Tesla right here as well as we go, man. Of course I'm trading Riley. Dude, I trade small caps. Yeah, you know that, my guy. We've had some of the biggest small cap winners here, actually, to be honest with you. I know Sharif trades in the midday, but Sharif's right, we have left it alone on this show for some reason, but we're back in it, so we'll still trade them. I mean, you guys know, Big Bear's been a good one for me in the past. Riley's been a good one. We've destroyed.
The quantum names have been great.
Yeah, Rigetti, lots of names have been great. Good point, Neil. So yeah, as we go, man, lots of great names traded for small cap, right? Here. So
speaking of small caps.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
NIO's been on one today. NIO, and I know everyone's like, oh, you guys are ignoring NIO. You're ignoring XPeng. Yeah, super strong. I actually didn't see this. I wasn't here yesterday, so when NIO did this exact same thing, 7 or 8% yesterday's trade, I did miss it. But it looks like the buyers in accumulation at force finally doing something on NIO, and maybe this is the moment where you actually get more than just 1 or 2 days of lackadaisical buying above or into $5 and then just a big reversion. It feels a little bit stronger here. You like the volume that it's putting in. Biggest volume candle yesterday since December, I believe, although I'm missing one of those, but since December, and you're following that up with a lot of strength in here. As with all Chinese ADRs, all bets are off for me once you get past like 1 o'clock in terms of volume, but if you do get a VWAP dip or a reversion back downside, I'd look for a bounce off VWAP here on NIO. So I'm not caring about $5. I care more about that $4.90. Palantir still very much doing the same thing where, see the sellers at that 90 level? It's not really able to punch through, but the good thing about this is the longer it holds making these higher lows in the 90s, then you get a tighter trail in terms of where this trend line is from the actual open bottom here on Palantir. So now you're starting to eke above that 90 level. We close above VWAP. I want to look long into the trend line, and it's that or HIMS, and HIMS is suddenly looking way stronger than it was before. HIMS now starting to hold bids above 450. Nice little higher low put on HIMS. I don't think we're going to get VWAP if this one wants to squeeze here today. So we close above VWAP on Palantir. I'm long into that trend line I just showed you. And with HIMS, going to give up on VWAP for now and maybe look for an entry a little bit higher with a tighter stop. It's putting in higher lows here on HIMS. I don't want it to get too far away from us. Nvidia, it's not moving as much, and that's kind of putting, with Nvidia not moving, AMD's not moving either. So the idea that AMD on this bounce was going to get to VWAP feels like that's pretty much kaput. 103.5, I might have to look for the short there. Not a single trade on AMD for me, despite liking it short, because it just fell like an absolute rock. The only level to look at now would be yesterday's low, and then that works to Tuesday's bottoms as well. So I guess that's all you're going to get, and I have to short it well away from VWAP. And that's just part of the game. You can want to short something in VWAP because the market's coming up, but if it doesn't get there, you don't get a trade. So I'll just have to short it off of where the sellers are showing me it can get to instead.
I think the best short there would be for Tesla right now, 294. We can definitely have a look at that. I don't want to go short anything, but that would be a play I think is somewhat reasonable here. TSLA potentially for a downside push right now. So we can have a quick little look and see if anything does happen here for Tesla. But that would be something if you're interested in it. That could be a trade that I don't mind doing. Their Tesla, so we'll set some orders up around that 294. Just looking to see what we're doing. Nvidia's having a problem. We talked about Riley a little bit, but it's not really doing too much there. Palantir, let's see what's going on with Affirm now. Affirm, load. Okay, so I'm getting a signal that it's at VWAP, but again, without too much volume there, up actually 0.5%, which is nice. The sky is not falling. I mean, we're only down now 0.39. That was a very, very epic move to the downside. Yeah, I see you in the chat. Like, I don't know, Google getting hit there again. It's just going to continue. I'm not really sure why Google's getting hit the worst out of them all, but it is. So Google down 1.49% right now. And yeah, not looking very healthy. That is for sure. So Amazon battling back. Google doesn't really battle back that much. It did have a nice move. It did go up about $2, but faded right back in. I mean, Amazon, I guess Amazon only went up $3. So it's not like this is super strong. And yeah, Google just, I don't really have a reason of why that is potentially down so much, but it is. So we're just going to have to wait for it. I mean, broke through the 50-period moving average and, the 200-period moving average. 50 was way up there at 190, and now it's a downside play. So you got to have to wait probably for 160, 165 right now for Google. So forever long is your boy, but it does not look like it wants to be a great idea. That is for sure. So,
buying opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Just all about buying opportunities, but you got to have cash to do that. So hopefully some of you are able to raise some of that as we go. So definitely, man, been... thanks for watching here today. I think it's been obviously not as profitable of a day as we would have liked to see, but we'll still be holding out red. Put in the chat. I want to actually see what you guys are up to. If you're red here, I'm going to say. What comes up if I just type in red? Okay, I'm going to put this, so put in a red or green little stop there, and we'll see. So I'm going to be red today, but again, very manageable, but we are going to be red. And in being honest, I mean, this is how we got to where we are. We're 500,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations, Darwin and everybody as well. So let's start putting them in the chat, and let's see what people are, red or green today.
Well, apparently, just before we go over to Adara, I just got into the break of the trend here on Palantir as we just lost VWAP and just lost that 90 level. So going to give it to the prior bar high. That's going to be 90.25. And let's go to Adara for a little money talks.
This is the US dollar, and it is, as you can see here, kind of trying to break out of its downtrend on the daily chart. We've had lower highs and lower lows. Yesterday, we got a bit of a bounce. Today, though, actually trying to take out this previous high. Let's see if we can get above that high of day on Wednesday, February 19th, which was our most recent high there, that 107.30s. So currently around 107.17s. Lots of Fed speak today. We're going to have Fed's Bowman come through at 11:45 a.m. Then we're going to be getting Fed's Hammock at 1:15 and Fed's Harker at 3:15. We also are going to have some We had some data earlier today to talk about exactly in line with expectations here for the GDP estimate for Q4. So our previous estimate was 2.3%. This estimate also 2.3%. Pending home sales here much lower than expected, negative 4.6 versus negative 0.9 expected. Then we're also tomorrow going to be getting PCE, and it looks like we're getting a little bit higher than expected on some, or lower than expected, sorry, in some of these metrics. So PCE price index year over year, we're looking for 2.5% versus 2.6% previous. The month-over-month PCE is expected to be in line with the previous print at 0.3%. Then the PCE price index on a core basis is actually expected to drop here, 2.6% versus 2.8% previous. We're expecting a slight uptick, though, in the month-over-month core print. So to recap, we're expecting in line or slightly above slightly above the previous print. Sorry, for the month-over-month numbers, the year-over-year actually expect to be lower than previous. So year-over-year, we're expecting to see a little bit of deflation, some potential inflation expected month-over-month, but what these expectations aren't really going to mean anything. We have to wait and find out what the actual number is at 8:30 a.m. So you can find that with us live. Back to you.
You can find it live for sure. All economic numbers and more, as importantly, I shouldn't say more importantly, as importantly, all the earnings live and live price reactions to all of it, like in the record-setting Nvidia show last night, where they rinsed all the options players again. I feel like this earnings season may be the last one as well. If you've been betting on the over on most of the moves, you've been getting moked this year.
Yeah,
I think you just have to. This feels like the kind of year where the market makers are just absolutely rinsing everybody, and you have to make the adjustment on the earnings. Too many inside moves to be playing for those big, obviously outside opportunities. But it does give you some good bounce levels to work off of. It gives you some fade levels to work off of when things go a little bit too far. Snowflake might be an example of that one here today. So, there's always an opportunity to trade out there. You just have to adjust to what the market is giving you. We're no longer seeing Nvidia just double-digit everything to the upside or downside. It's just not going to be that. So the market's heading back to 21, and we just got into Palantir. I just looked up at HIMS is going to head into VWAP as well, as it looks like we're coming back in. So Palantir broke trend to the downside. Looks like it wants to track at least toward 88.5. Just a reminder, I like Palantir longs from 86 to 88, and that's because of this 50-period bounce that we got going on. Pretty much on a dime, it's bounced off the 50 period. So I like that level for Palantir in general. If we trend back in, gonna look for the out at the low of yesterday, which is just underneath 88 here on PLTR. Trend in, trend out. And HIMS, which is still strong. Don't jinx it. We got 5 minutes to go. HIMS putting in a little bit of a bull flag off yesterday's high. If the market comes back in for us, this could be the chance to actually get VWAP. All kinds of sellers at 45 here on HIMS. So it was right not to take the long up here. I think waiting for it to get in, maybe give us a better long closer to VWAP or 44 is going to be the way to go. So Palantir is the only new position. HIMS, we're still waiting very, very patiently for that long opportunity there. Good hook shot. People don't use the hook, and
I just Kareem Abdul-Jabbar this guy, and he dropped it. You know what I mean?
Imagine if Wemby had if any of those dudes had a hook to go with some of the game. I don't know.
Wemby's hurt now, gone.
I know that was sad to hear, because hopefully it's more like what happened. Because Ingram had this too with the blood clotting. But you hope it's not the worst, because it can be a career ender. With Chris Bosh, it was obviously a career ender. But
Chris Bosh, yeah. Take my talents to South Beach. Okay, so we reloaded Nvidia, and we're there it is again. Another one. So another win for you guys there on Nvidia as it goes. I don't know. I looked at the chat there. We could do what is this vote anyways? What does it say? Bullish or bearish? Okay, bearish looks like wins the day. We asked about green or reds, and I was sort of looking at it, and it looks pretty mixed. So yeah, greens, reds, some greens there, some reds there as well. So a pretty mixed day. I feel like that's about right. So, depending on what you're trading there, thank you so much to everybody for watching the show. It's about to get 10 times better with Joe and Sharif coming through. So get ready for that right there. We did take advantage of a move up there in Riley to get less and less exposed on this. We're out there, came up into the VWAP. We said we were going to wait for VWAP. We got it. So there it goes, man. Man of my word. So we get some out there on that as it pops back up. So yeah, man, so far so good here today. And we'll be down, but it'll be rough. It's like we'll make that back. Hopefully, we'll be green by the time we come back to you guys. And then right there it is. So it was all of it was due to this. If we don't have this trade, then we are significantly down. And we made that same play yesterday and the day before where we got hit early trying to catch some of these moves. We're just going to have to try to back up just a little bit right now. Rivian, the stock that I cannot advise anybody buying, is down to $12, but it is having a nice move back to the upside again. You want to catch falling knives, go for it. But that $10 mark might be a spot where you might want to get interested in Rivian as that's starting to pop up again. And then really, man, I mean, that Tesla long, that was the trade today down there at 280. So it came back in and ripped up about $13, right up there at 293. So watch out now if that comes in and retests those lows again as well. So just to let you know, I'm still bidding some Amazon down there. I'm going to cancel all those upside takes. We'll reassess all that when it comes through. I'm going to buy some more Nvidia and I'm buying more Amazon. Until we break these bottoms, that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's see if blood does come in the streets. You know I'm going to be sitting there and picking up some Amazon. My bid is at $211.80. So still ways down. If we can get down there near $2, we're going to do that. And then we're using $211.50 as our out. That's going to be the bottom of the day. We'll try to take 30 cents worth of risk on shares that are brave. So we'll say that. We'll wait to see if Amazon comes back in.
And that's what it's all about. We have a couple minutes to go, so just one other update for you. Palantir still holding a trend, but starting to put in a nice little higher low. The market's holding on to 21,000, which has at least some significance to it because this was the bottoming tail wick that we put on in the NASDAQ. There we go. So 2 days ago, there was your low at that 21. We put in the bottoming tail wick, closing above it. So support in here means take profit on shorts. It's a trend in, trend out. So if we break this now prior bar low, I'm going to jump out of Palantir. If we break down from here, looking for that 88 level, HIMS is still looking relatively strong. So it's holding on to 44. It doesn't seem to want to get into VWAP because the market's still dropping. I just want to be patient with it. But the other way that I can get into this is if it does this slow grind down, trending like this, I can just take a reversal of that trend, whether it's at VWAP, it could be at 44, 43.7, let it close back above, take the long, and then put the stop right underneath that prior bar low. That's another way that I might get into HIMS, as it looks relatively strong here for sure. I see Bearded Warrior trades, and SPY seems to like the 590 support. Yeah, I'm looking at the NASDAQ, but it's essentially the same level. That 21 on the NASDAQ, your corresponding, on the NASDAQ future is going to correspond with that ES bottom as well. So yeah, the market's trying to find support, but remember, it is trend down. I prefer to look longs in things that have an upward trend to it, or at least some form of relative strength. That's why I'm over here on HIMS, which it has a chance. It might close this bar above this recent trend, in which case I'd try to jump in, ideally before 44.6, with a stop underneath that prior bar. So Palantir short working. HIMS, we're not in it just yet. And AMD, Donald just said. I don't know why you're excited about AMD. It must be... There it goes. It just broke the low again, so that's me canceling another offer. AMD just broke the low once again. This stock cannot get out of its own way. It is 11 o'clock. We'll be back at 2 for sure. But right now, you've got the professor. You've got Joey options. Go get them, boys, and eat those eggs, Sharif.
Too late.
How do you...
Boom. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That's your boy Joey Options right there. I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait until YouTube